Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Walnut Crawdads pregame show. I am your host, Justin DeHaas. Alongside me, my co-host, Kobe Segal. Kobe, how you doing today?
I am doing great. We have the second game of the CCL. Excited for the Crawdads to try and get their first win and get back to 500.
Yeah, for sure. And for those who don't know, yesterday was CCL opening day. We could just do a brief recap of how that went. The Walnut Creek Crawdads lost to the Bay Area Admirals 10-7. That game was at the Bay Area Admirals at Solano College in lovely Fairfield, California, and essentially it was a back and forward game for the most part. It seemed like you know the hitting was really good. Pitching maybe a little shaky, but I mean, again, that's reasonable. The season just started, and so these pitchers have to get warmed up. All but two pitchers gave up at least one run in the outing, and the Crawdads were up 7-5, and then in the eighth inning, imploded a little bit. But they come back home, with a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth, and they're ready to get some revenge on these Admirals at Monte Vista High School. Kobe, what are you looking forward to for this game specifically?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing more of the pitching and the bullpen because we've seen most of these hitters, but we really don't know what the pitching staff is going to look like. We already saw Cade Cushing emerge yesterday with 3 strikeouts with that filthy curveball, and Antoine Valeria was pretty good yesterday too. So I'm really looking forward to see this pitching and see who Coach Brant Cummings will be able to trust in those high leverage situations.
Yeah, and so you alluded to some of the pitching and some of the hitting, and let's just briefly go through the lineups here. So for the Bay Area Admirals, they have at leadoff Blake Schaff, batting second Chase Graves, Kenny DeSalle, Kirk Wolf, Seth Gwynn, Luke Rossi, Jacob Antek, Alden Quintanilla, Christoph Swenson, and Nick Gonsalves as the starting pitcher. I would just like to add that Kenny DeSalle was in the starting lineup last game. He got 3 hits.
And a walk.
And a walk. But the top 4 hitters for the Admirals last game combined for 13 hits, 13 of the 16 hits that the team accumulated, and 7 of the 10 RBI. And it appears that DeSalle is the only one from that starting lineup still in it. So, I mean, that's an observation I made about their lineup. What did you see?
Well, it's not what I see; it's what I don't see. I do not see Ryan Pierce in that lineup. He is, based on our information, he is not active today, and that is that's definitely a very big loss not having Ryan Pierce available. So, the way the ball came off his bat yesterday, he looked just to be a fantastic player.
Mm-hmm. And a guy like Kobe Rowling, too, who was the leadoff hitter yesterday, got 4 hits, most on the team, and yet he's not there either. So like we alluded to, that leadoff 3-4 hitters from yesterday, like we said, only DeSalle is left. And then Nick Gonsalves. This is a kid who we did some research on and didn't find much. This is a constant theme, it seems like, in the CCL. We are going to tell you every pregame show that there's at least one person that we did research on and just couldn't really find much. But Gonsalves is that kid. That was Miguel Ramos yesterday, and he actually had a pretty good game. Didn't give up any hits yesterday in 3 innings of work. Had a little bit of command issues when it came to walks and hit by pitches. That second inning specifically, he had 2 hit by pitches and 2 walks, and that resulted in a run. But he was able to escape a big inning. And speaking of escaping big innings, kind of like Antoine Valerio yesterday, especially in that first inning, he gave up 3 hits, but Casey Cummings, the center fielder, really helped him out with an outfield assist there. And Cummings, nice little segue into the lineup for the Crawdads. So you got Cummings at leadoff with Duroff, Brome, Farfan, Fellows, Donnelly, Gilliam, Calvillo, Harrison, and Spalerio at on the bump. And so what I'm looking at here, a kid like Tyson Pointer, not in the lineup today, but Cummings still hitting leadoff, 3rd straight game. I think that's very fascinating because, I mean, just look at the Admirals. They changed their lineup dramatically, right? But yet for the Crawdads, they still changed their lineup, but Cummings is that one constant in the leadoff spot.
Yeah, and in terms of the top of the lineup, no Pointer, no Ryan Ellis, but I mean, unlike the Admirals, the Crawdads have had some kind of constant names. Cummings has been in the lineup 3 times, Duroff, Fellows, Calvillo, and I mean, so Crawdads lineup has been a little more constant, seeing a little more of the familiar names. And Joey Donnelly is back in the lineup today. He got in a bat yesterday, and he got a hit. I look forward to him continuing to rake and maybe picking up another player of the game, maybe the second player of the game this season.
Yeah, I mean that'd be very true. I mean, look, when I look at the lineup, I mentioned Cummings before, and then I also see Duroff and Calvillo, who also got multiple hits yesterday. I talked to Coach Brant Cummings after the game about Cam Calvillo specifically, and what he told me was that I asked him about how, all right, so first game he was hitting ninth, then he got a couple hits. You moved him up to seventh, and then he got a couple hits. Well, he's hitting eighth today, and what Coach Brant Cummings told me was that, well, he's not going to be hitting down there very often. He's going to be a guy that they're going to want to move up to from the 4 through 7 hole. And so you see him at 8 today, but I mean, Calvillo specifically is a true contributor to the squad, and we'll see if he can get another couple hits today. But going with the pitching, Ryan Spalerio, this is a kid from St. Mary's, 6'1", 175. As you'll hear on the broadcast, he's got a 3-pitch Mitch, fastball, slider, splitter. His fastball's in the low 90s. You got anything on Spalerio?
Yeah, so I mean, at St. Mary's, he appeared in 12 games. He did have a 10 ERA with 11 walks and 16 strikeouts. So clearly a little bit of a struggle at St. Mary's, but obviously this is an opportunity to really improve, to give himself more opportunities to show St. Mary's and anyone else uh, potentially what he can do. And I mean, you said his fastball low 90s, and he was a pretty solidly rated recruit last year, ranked 500th in the entire country. I mean, that's pretty good. So I think he definitely has a lot of talent and definitely has a chance to prove himself.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I think you look at, I think pitching, especially in the CCL, we've seen kids like Ramos and Gonsalves who, when you do research, you can't really find that much on or about. But, then you see a kid like Spalerio, and, like, he's got some insight on there. And so, I think, with Spalero, basically, like you said, he was decently highly recruited coming out of Central High School in Fresno, California. Got 50 strikeouts and 35 innings of work with a 2 ERA. So, I mean, like we said, this kid does have a lot of talent, and, maybe struggled a little bit at St. Mary's, but, he could put it together. And so what do you notice about this game overall as we close over these last 2 to 3 minutes?
Well, I think it's obviously going to be very important to take care of business at home. You don't really want to go into an 0-2 hole, and you'd really like to have a chance to win a rubber match of the series tomorrow back at the Billy and Luis Yarbrough Stadium at Solano College. So, I mean, really, it's very important to win this game, find out what other arms you can trust going forward, and I think we'll obviously find that out here in a few minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, I think the key thing is just finding out which arms you can trust. And honestly, it didn't seem like yesterday there were that many arms that like you could truly trust just based off of what they did. Like I said, every pitcher basically gave up a run except Cushing, which, by the way, I want to give that man major props. Came in after what Ryan Troy did, and he was able to strike out the side. Granted, he gave up a couple hits, gave up a couple inherited runners, but you're willing to make that sacrifice if you're the Crawdads. Essentially, look, by the end of that, you were down 3 going into the ninth, and that gives your offense a chance, right? That's what we said in the postgame show yesterday, and hopefully they can avenge that loss, if you will. That's what their hope is, and like you said, win this game. You got the rubber match on Thursday at Solano. And anything else, Kobe?
Nope. Just really excited to watch some baseball.
All right. Well, you've heard on the call the last couple days Jake and Carson. Today you were going to hear Elaine and Jake. So as I teased that, we will be ending our pregame show here. And thank you for listening. And check back in at 4 o'clock.
Number 11, Ryan Rome. At second base, number 8, Griffin Harrison. At third base, number 7, Max Farfan. And at shortstop, number 3, Cameron Del Rio. In right field, number 10, behind the plate, number 17, Sam Gilliam. And on the mound for the Crawdads, the right-hander, number 16, Ryan Spolero.
Welcome in, folks, to the broadcast booth here of the Walnut Creek Crawdads streaming network. Alon Desai, along with Jake Baum. We're going to have all 9 innings of action this afternoon. First pitch was scheduled for right around 4 o'clock. It's 4:01, so just getting through some final warm-up pitches is today's starter, Ryan Spolero, for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. The Crawdads come in with a record of 1-1 after losing last night, Jake. It did go into the evening, but yesterday afternoon over at Solano College against these very same Bay Area Admirals, who they will be taking on this afternoon here in Danville, California. They had the lead, Jake, 7-5 heading into the bottom of the 8th, and then wheels kind of fell off when they were trying to close the game.
And it was up and down the entirety of that game. It was back and forth, and both credit to both teams for coming back in those situations. But at the end of the day, it's the pitching that really just didn't step up the way the Crawdads needed to in the later innings, of course, specifically in the bottom of the 8th. And the closer for the Admirals, Adam Enyard, did a great job of closing it out for them. No hits allowed in the 9th inning. Crawdads not able to make a comeback, looking to avenge that loss here today.
Yeah, Crawdads just and they got the clutch hitting yesterday. It wasn't like they didn't have hitting when they needed it. It was just the run prevention at the very end of the game. But that's in the past. They will try to avenge that loss, get back in the win column. Here this afternoon, the Admirals are 2-1 overall. This is their 4th game. The Crawdads, once again, 1-1 overall, 0-1 in league play, and this is their 3rd game. So leading things off will be Blake Schaff. He is the shortstop. We'll give you the lineups and set the defense in a moment here after the first pitch is authored from the St. Mary's College Gale. Ryan Spolero winds and deals. Bunt is shown, and it's fouled back into the cage. First pitch, 4:03. It's 69 degrees here in Danville, California. Your first pitch, time, and temperature is brought to you by Meadowlark Dairy, trying to hang on to that old town vibe since the early 1900s. The 0-1 pitch from Spolero gets a big swing and a miss there, perhaps below the knees. Spolero comes in with a fastball that he can get up to around 94, sits between 92 and 94, has a splitter, a slider, as well as a slurve. Spolero taking a long look in, kicks the leg, and deals, and gets a strikeout. Sit him down, Ryan Spolero. Great way to start the game. So Blake Schaff strikes out his first time he's gone down swinging this season, and that'll bring up the number 2 hitter, Chase Graves.
Great way to get a quick first out for Ryan Spolero in his first action with the Walnut Creek Crawdads this year. Quick out's exactly what the entire pitching staff is going to need throughout this entire day.
Oh, here comes the righty Graves, who gets into one, belts it into center, but it'll hang up for the center fielder, Casey Cummings, for out number 2. So 2 quick outs, a strikeout and a fly out into center. After Graves, it's going to be Kenny DeSell, Crawdad killer, a guy who has played a lot of ball games against this Walnut Creek Crawdad squad, but previously as a member of the Solano Mudcats. Batting 4th is Kirk Wolf. He's the DH. DeSell once again in left field. Seth Gwynn in right field batting 5th. Luke Rossi, the 3rd baseman, batting 6th. Jacob Antona, the 2nd baseman, batting 7th. Quintanilla batting 8th. He's at 1st. And Swayson, the catcher, batting 9th. Pitch here to DeSell, right on the outside black. So showing some good stuff already is Ryan Spolero.
I'm excited to see his pitch mix, specifically to DeSell.
0-1 pitch to DeSell, and this is knocked foul on the ground over on the right side. Count will be 0-2. The defense for the Crawdads doing the catching is Sam Gilliam. Over at first, Ryan Brome, Griffin Harrison, the 2nd baseman. Max Farfan over at 3rd, Cam Calvillo at short, and the outfield from left to right, it's Donnelly Cummings and Ryan DeRoff over in right field. 2 away, top of the 1st, still scoreless. The 0-2 pitch from Spolero misses high, just not able to stay on top of that one. And the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Crawdads looking for a good outing from their starter today. St. Mary's Gale fires right back at him. Kick save, picks it up, throws over to first. Is that going to pull Brome off the bag? It does. And that was a tough play all the way around for the pitcher, Spolero, to make. Let's see if he's okay. Everybody on the infield kind of walking over to check on him. A great job being a wall there and blocking that ball down, but unfortunately he had to rush the throw over to Brome at first. Kenny DeSell now safe at first base, and we're going to make sure that Ryan Spolero is okay.
And that's exactly the right thing to do in that situation, block the ball, and he did exactly that. And he did everything right except the throw. He had another second. He just took another second to really think about the throw, set his feet. He might have been able to make it on time.
That's just a tough play to make. I mean, if it doesn't hit him and it's just a little dribbler, got a much better chance. But getting hit and then trying to recover, that is hard. Here's Kirk Wolf, the designated hitter, hitting just 143. He's 1 for 7 so far this summer. First pitch here misses low. Count 1-0 with 2 away. DeSalle over on first. See how much of a lead he gets here. About a stride and a half off the bag. And the 1-0 pitch in there for a strike. Today's umpires behind home plate calling balls and strikes is Mr. Robert McGee. Over at first, it's George Kirkland. And Mike Stankiewicz, a familiar face, is behind the pitcher right now, behind Spolero. The 1-1 pitch. DeSalle's going to take off. This misses inside. The throw from Gilliam. It's going to be offline. Nearly hits Spolero. That's going to be a stolen base for Kenny DeSalle. We've seen him do that in the past, Jake.
A little PTSD there for Spolero after that first hit, but that throw just a little off far to the right, and it was a very rushed throw. Even if the throw was on line, probably would not have been in time as the pitch was very inside, nearly hitting Kirk Wolf.
Yeah, it was the right idea from Gilliam, but trying to stretch in to get the ball and then throw back, it was tough. Could have been calamity there. So 2 balls and a strike. DeSalle in scoring position. 0-0 here, top of the first. Pitch, and this misses in and perhaps a bit low, and the count 3 balls and a strike here to the designated hitter, the number 4 man, Kirk Wolf. Wolf does have a home run and 2 RBIs. DeSalle, with that stolen base, that might get him going in the batter's box. He's just batting 200. As this is popped up on the infield, it's going to be in foul territory. Brome looking at it, has it just off first base, makes the catch for out number 3. So no runs put on the board, 1 hit for the Bay Area Admirals, but it wasn't as uneventful as it looks in the scorebook. Spolero did get drilled by a comebacker there. He's okay, but it's still 0-0. Bottom of the first coming up when we return here from Danville, California on the Walnut Creek Crawdads streaming network. Bottom of the first from Danville, California. Alon say, along with Jake Baum here on the call. The Crawdads going to look to strike first here in the bottom of the opening frame. They're going to be facing Mr. Nick Gonzalez, a righty. And there's just not a lot of information on him out there, Jake. And we were hunting all over the place. He has played summer ball in the past. He's from San Ramon. But that's about all we have on this young man on the mound for the Admirals. The lineup he's going to be going against the first 3, it's going to be Casey Cummings leading off. He's in center. Brian DeRoff, the right fielder, batting second. Ryan Brome at first base, batting third. Max Farfan, the third baseman, batting cleanup. Cole Fellows, the designated hitter, batting fifth. Joey Donnelly in left, batting sixth. Sam Gilliam, the catcher, batting seventh. Cameron Calvillo, the shortstop, batting eighth. And Griffin Harrison over at second, batting ninth. First pitch here is fouled away off, looks like off a shin. That count 0-1, so a strike on the board there for Nick Gonzalez. Bottom of the first. No score yet. Just the 1 hit registered by the Admirals. Admirals, a new addition to the CCL this year, and there's a big breaking ball that is whacked at. The count 0-2 as it hit foul over towards Ryan Lovato's way. He's coaching over at third base today for the Crawdads. Slight breeze here in Danville, but temperature-wise, couldn't ask for a nicer day as this misses outside. The count, a ball and 2 strikes. Casey Cummings was 2 for 4 yesterday and hit by a pitch. 1-2 pitch is a breaking ball. That is foul tipped into the mitt of the catcher, Swayson, for out number 1. So a strikeout there of Casey Cummings. And that's a good thing for the Admirals. You don't want Casey Cummings to get on base. I would venture to say that he is the fastest player on this Crawdads team. He's definitely a base-stealing threat out there. So he is retired, and here comes Brian Duroff. First pitch here from the righty Gonzalez to the righty Duroff. Misses low. The count 1-0. Duroff hitting an even 500, although it is still very early. Does have a couple of RBIs. He's struck out once. Hasn't drawn a walk yet. And the 1-0 pitch to Duroff. This misses low and away. Good snag there by Swayson, although no one's on base. No Casey Cummings out there to worry about. The defense for the Admirals. Swayson catching. Quintanilla over at first. And Antenna is what it looks like in the book, but it's Antenna. He's over at second. Rossi at third. The 2-0 pitch. This misses high. Good eye there from Brian Duroff. And the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Schaff over at short, and in the outfield from left to right, Kenny DeSalle, Chase Graves, and Seth Gwynn. 3-0 pitch on the way. Duroff has a chance to get his first walk of the season and give the Crawdads their first base runner this afternoon. Instead, 3-0. He has the green light, pops this up about a mile high. It's going to land over near the bleachers, the grandstands here on the right side behind the dugout of the Crawdads. The count 3-1.
Here's what we do know about Nick Gonzalez. Stands at 6 foot 175, so a little bit of a smaller guy. He's not going to overpower you apparently with that fastball or anything. See what the Crawdads are able to take advantage of a slower fastball seen from Gonzalez.
Gonzalez fires. Duroff whacks this one into shallow center field. Coming in to make the catch is Chase Graves. So taking a bid at that ball was Duroff, just a little bit under it. And he's still walking back to the dugout. A little frustrated. That was right at the knees, and that's a happy zone for Duroff as a hitter. But he is retired. 2 away here in the bottom of the first, still 0-0. Here comes the lefty bat of Ryan Brome.
Just a pinch hitter used yesterday for Brome, but went 1 for 2. Did manage to notch an RBI, so an RBI in both of his appearances thus far.
Pitch to Brome in the righty-lefty matchup here. Misses away. The count 1-0. The Admirals, mentioned they're a newer team, a brand new team for the CCL. So that's 2 years in a row where the CCL North has been able to pick up a team. Last year it was the Sonoma Stompers. This year it's the Bay Area Admirals. The 1-0 pitch. This misses away, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. The Admirals playing in grayish, dark bluish tops and pants with some red trim and the red hats and the word salute written on the front of their jerseys. A 2-0 pitch, and going right after it is Brome, but fouls it away. The count 2 balls and a strike with 2 away here. The Crawdads in their classic Crawdad home red with the black trim and the black numbers, and then kind of a wrinkle to the uniform this year, a new wrinkle. Pinstripe pants, white pants with black pinstripes. There's a nice slider there. And just nipping the zone, the outside edge against the lefty Brome is the right-handed hurler, Gonzalez, the count 2-2.
Perfect slider there. It really just looked totally outside the zone and then came right back in on Brome.
2-2 pitch, that same pitch, this time Brome able to fight it off, stay alive. That is something that I grew accustomed to seeing last season with Ryan Brome, just fighting pitches off until he got one that he liked or until the pitcher just gave in and walked him. Brome hitting 500 so far this season officially. And Brome swings and misses, and he strikes out his second time Kang this summer through 3 games. So after 1, it is still 0-0. Crawdads not able to get on the board. And the top of the second will start when we return here from Danville, California on the Crawdads streaming network. Top of the second inning, still scoreless. Nothing here, just the one hit so far, and that's owned by the Bay Area Admirals, who are visiting Danville, California today. Second game in a row between these two teams. Crawdads lost yesterday 10-7, although they did have a lead late in the bottom of the eighth. They were ahead 7-5. Here is Seth Gwynn in the batter's box, and some chin music there as he has to lean out of the way. The count 1-0. Gwynn hitting .250. He's in right field today for the Admirals. After Gwynn, it'll be Rossi and Antona. Pitch here, foul tipped, and the count 1-1.
Gwynn's first league action so far this year.
1-1 pitch. Gwynn gets into this, hits it high, towering shot into left field, but short, and coming in to make the catch is Joey Donnelly. So left field can be a little bit of an adventure out there for anybody who comes here and plays here, even for the home team. And Donnelly just kind of stumbled a little bit there, but was able to recover and make the catch. So one away here in the top of the second. And Jake, I don't know if you found this out yet, if you've stood out there, but there's actually an elevation change in left field, so it's hard to see into home plate if you're playing out there on the left side. Pitch here, a strike to Rossi, Luke Rossi, the third baseman. Count 0-1. The 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, and the count, no balls and 2 strikes to the Admirals' third baseman.
0 for 4 yesterday for Luke Rossi. He did get hit by a pitch and reach base, but looking to avenge that performance.
No one wants to go over the 0-2 pitch, and does this end up hitting him? It does. Just grazes him on the belt line there. Spolero says that one's on me. No intention there at all. Just lost the grip of that fastball, and that'll be a hit by pitch there for Rossi. He is over on first.
We've seen the negative effects of hit by pitches throughout the first 2 games of the season for the Crawdads. Hopefully it doesn't allow anything more to come from it. Only runner on first now.
Hit by pitch, it's something you see with some frequency here, especially early in the summer, as going around is Jacob Antona, the second baseman. Oh, Rossi's still over on the season, but he's over on base. Setting at the belt, the pitch from Spolero, and call that a ball, low. Count 1-1.
Good block there by Sam Gilliam behind the plate.
Antona looking for his first hit this summer. Admirals considered an affiliate member this year in the California Collegiate League, as this gets by Gilliam. Gilliam's going to try to throw over to second, but a clean take of second there for Rossi. Probably have to put that down as a pass ball there.
That one kind of the opposite of what we saw just a little bit earlier, where if he did make that throw a little bit more to the right of second base, he might have been able to get him on time, but not able to there.
The arm getting a workout so far for Gilliam behind home plate for the Crawdads. Hasn't gunned anybody down yet. 2-1 pitch. This is hit on a line over the third baseman, Farfan's head. It's going to end up in left field. Coming around to score is Rossi, and ending up with a stand-up double and an RBI is Jacob Antona. So that's a heck of a way to get your first hit and first RBI of the season. And the Crawdads find themselves in an early 1-0 hole here with one away. In the top of the second, it is 1-0 Bay Area Admirals.
Really just squared that one up, perfectly hit. Sized up the off-speed pitch. And that's how they get on the board first.
Good piece of hitting there. We'll see if it rattles Spolero or if he's able to bear down and get through this. Here's Alden Quintanilla. Just getting by him is Spolero. The count 0-1.
Quintanilla, an L.A. native, went to Granada Hills High School.
Man from Southern California playing his summer ball in Northern California. Second pitch to the lefty Quintanilla. He takes all the way, and the count even, a ball and a strike. Quintanilla Batting eighth today for Jordan Bautista and his Bay Area Admirals. Bautista, the manager. First year managing in the CCL for Bautista. The 1-1 pitch. This is skied high behind home plate. And is that going to land foul? It does. It actually lands in foul territory right before the fencing near the on-deck circle of the visiting dugout. But really no chance at that for Farfan. It looked like Max couldn't track the ball cleanly off the bat. It'll just be a strike instead of an out. Count 1-2 with one away and a runner in scoring position. That's Antona over at second. The 1-2 pitch. Just protecting here on 1-2 is Quintanilla. On deck, Christoph Swanson.
Quintanilla now plays at Chico State. Mostly used as a pinch hitter there. Only started one game for Chico State this past year.
Mostly a pinch hitter, and that's one of the reasons so many of these players come to play summer ball. As this is hit high in the sky, is this one going to stay in play? Running on it is the third baseman Farfan, but not able to track this one either. It lands near the opposing bullpen. So maybe a couple of outs there. That one was harder than the first one, but a couple of potential outs there that could have been registered for the Crawdads really help your pitcher out, Spolero.
That looked like a ball that I wish Joey Donnelly kind of came in for more. He had a better angle to see it than Max Farfan, of course, having to kind of backtrack from that third base position. Unfortunately, Farfan called it off, and Donnelly was not able to make the play.
I agree with you, Jake. I think that's one I'd like to see Donnelly charge in for. Easier play for him. 1-2 pitch once again, and this forces Gilliam to slide out to his left, make sure the ball doesn't get by. Don't want to give up another free bag, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes, still 1 away, 1-0. Admirals here in command in the top of the second. The 2-2 from Spolero, who's pitching out of the stretch and gets a swing and a miss and a strikeout. Spolero able to register his second strikeout of the day out there on the mound and gets the second out here in the top of the second.
Way to finish him off. Quintanilla had a really tough at-bat there, fouling pitches off left and right, but their battle was won by Spolero. Good way to keep fighting through it.
Spolero now will face the number 9 hitter, Christoph Swanson. Christoph, a righty, and takes a first pitch fastball for a strike at the knees on the outer half of home plate. The count 0-1. Outfield and infield pretty much straight up. Swing and a miss there. And the count 0-2. Spolero has a chance here to register back-to-back strikeouts. The 0-2 from Spolero. Instead, a big major league pop-up behind home plate. Calling for it is Gilliam, and he has it all the way for out number 3. But the Admirals are able to get a run. They lead 1-0 after Jacob Antona was able to knock in an RBI double and score Rossi. So 1-0 Bay Area Admirals ahead of the Crawdads here in Danville, California. Crawdads coming up to bat. Bottom of the second inning in Danville, California at Monte Vista High School. This field is is absolutely gorgeous here early this summer for the Crawdads. Although, not so much just the watering of the field that has made a difference here, especially in Northern California. I'm sure Southern California as well. Heavy rain season this winter, so all the natural grass fields, they really appreciated that. Field's in great shape this summer. So a really nice facility for the Crawdads to call home once again. Admirals lead 1-0. Bottom of the second, about to get underway. Still on the mound is the righty Nick Gonzalez. Going to be number 4, 5, and 6 for the Crawdads. Max Farfan, Cole Fellows, and Joey Donnelly. Farfan goes after the first pitch. Just trying to get the timing right there, but fouls it away. And the count 0-1.
Farfan, one of the few Crawdads yesterday not to notch a hit, did manage to get on base by way of the walk.
0-1 pitch here, and a good eye, not going after any junk. Down in the dirt and away, and the count a ball and a strike. Farfan playing over at third base this afternoon for the Crawdads as he takes another pitch low and away, and the count 2-1. Crawdads made the playoffs last year. Pretty successful season. Looking to get off on the right foot here early this summer. 1-1 overall. The 2-1 pitch, and Farfan takes high. Oh, in the driver's seat was the Crawdads' third baseman.
Walk here would be really great for the Crawdads to start the inning with a runner on base. Even if it is by way of the walk, just get something going, get some life in this Crawdads dugout.
The 3-1 pitch from Gonzalez. Here it is, and a big rip and a big miss. Actually, foul tipped into the mitt of Swanson. And the count runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
You can't be too mad at that swing on a 3-1 pitch. Of course, you're going to be swinging if it's anything in the zone.
Gonzalez kicks and deals and gets Farfan swinging. A strikeout there. That's already 3 men, 3 Crawdads that Nick Gonzalez, who's a man of mystery to many, has punched out here.
Well, maybe not after this start. Maybe there'll be some more information on him. Certainly a successful outing thus far. Out of the 4 batters he's faced, he's struck out 3 of them. Cole Fellows doesn't want that to happen to him, going 1 for 4 yesterday.
Here is Cole Fellows, the designated hitter for Walnut Creek. First pitch to Fellows, trying to frame it back in was Swanson, but to no avail. And the pitch outside, the count 1-0. Not going to fool Robert McGee, who's calling balls and strikes this afternoon. The 1-0 pitch, trying to nip again outside there is Gonzalez, but the count 2-0. But that hasn't seemed to trouble Gonzalez. I mean, he just fell behind 3-1 to the previous batter and ended up with a strikeout. The 2-0 from Gonzalez, and taking all the way there is Fellows. Fellows hitting .250, has been hit by a pitch also this season and has struck out once. Fellows kind of continuing that Columbia to Walnut Creek pipeline. A 2-1 pitch. This is hit on the ground hard to Jacob Antona over off of second, and kind of an unorthodox throw there that forced Quintanilla to stretch off the bag and lay down, but he was able to catch it. So there is another out, so 2 away.
And something I've seen from Gonzalez early is really great control of his slider specifically. We've seen a lot of control of that, and that's what's enabled him to get back in these counts in which he initially fell behind. So it's very impressive. You see he's falling behind 2-0 there, not worrying him at all. Gets right back in the zone and is able to get back and get out the first 2 batters of the inning.
Gonzalez kicks and fires, misses low and away. And, yeah, he's showing some real good perseverance, and it takes a lot of confidence, too, to consistently be behind hitters. I mean, obviously you don't want that to become a trend long term, but if you know you have the ability to be behind and then, strike back and get some strikeouts or get some easy outs for your team, that's a good place to be as a pitcher. This pitch swung at and missed. Count 1-1. Joey Donnelly does have a home run so far this year and a couple of RBIs. 3 for 4 overall. He's in left field this afternoon for Walnut Creek. Walnut Creek didn't put up a crooked number yesterday until late in the game on the scoreboard. Still looking for their first hit here in the bottom of the second as this pitch misses. The count 2 balls and a strike with 2 away here in the bottom of the second. The Admirals on the road leading 1-0. 2-1 pitch to the man out of Cal Berkeley. He gets into this, but lines it foul down the right field line. And the count 2-2.
That was a great pitch to swing on another slider there right in the zone. And it's been kind of fooling a lot of the hitters because even the ones that they're able to get contact on, not too solid contact. You saw Fellows ground out there, and Donnelly was able to get some good contact on that one, but too fast because he thought it was a fastball.
2-2 pitch. Donnelly skies this, gets way underneath it. It's going to be in shallow center. Coming on to make the catch is Chase Graves for out number 3. So another 1-2-3 inning there for Nick Gonzalez on the mound for the Admirals. After 2, they still lead 1-0. Top of the third coming up when we return here from Danville, California on the Walnut Creek Crawdads streaming network. So far for the Crawdads. Admirals on the board first here early. They lead. Just 2 hits so far this ball game, both registered by the Bay Area Admirals. Blake Schaff, second trip to the batter's box for the lefty, the leadoff hitter. It's going to be 1, 2, and 3 for the Admirals. Schaff goes after the first pitch he sees, a little lazy roller over to first base. Brome, underhand scoop to the covering pitcher, Spolero, for out number 1.
It's something that I've very much been impressed by in terms of Ryan Spolero is getting those quick outs. Of course, we saw some trouble induced by the hit by pitch, which we were saying we don't want to get in any trouble, especially with the hit by pitch after yesterday's matchup. But in this one, some quick contact. We've seen a lot of that, some weak contact, especially there.
Yeah, able to draw out a little dribbler there. Make it easy on your infield. So 0 for 2 now is Blake Schaff. Here's Chase Graves, who's 0 for 1. Takes the first pitch inside. I think that pitch was supposed to end up outside to the righty Graves. Instead, drifted back in. Kicks and fires does Spolero. Misses low and away. That time he got closer to the spot. I think he wanted to author the first pitch, too, of the AB. But he's behind 2-0. A lot of room to work with for Graves right back up the box. He wants to hit it there. The 2-0 pitch. There's a fastball right on the outside black for a strike. That is a phenomenal pitch. When you can locate the fastball way out there, just hit the edge, you're doing some good things. The 2-1 to Graves. Graves swings and misses. Climbing the ladder there was Spolero. And the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Graves able to reach base twice yesterday in the same inning on a walk and a hit by pitch.
2-2 pitch, and just below the knees, trying to Beta strike call there out of home plate umpire Mr. McGee, not getting it. Count runs full, 3 balls, 2 strikes, with 1 away here in the top of the third. The 3-2 pitches, bounces up to Gilliam. That'll be a walk.
And just a great eye there from Chase Graves. We saw him do it yesterday. We see him do it here again. But various ways to get on base. Playing at University of the Pacific. Started 37 games for them this past year, so we know he's able to play that D1 ball, play it well. Good eye there.
He's got that experience. No moment's too big for him. Here is Kenny DeSalle. And DeSalle takes low. The count 1-0. So 1 away, runner on first. That's the 4th base runner for the Bay Area Admirals early here, today's ball game. And the 1-0 pitch on the move is the runner, but this is hit foul down the third base line. Hit and run on there.
Crawdads are lucky that that one did roll foul, as Graves got a great jump and was almost at second base nearly by the time that foul ball left the infield.
I think with the wheels that Graves had and the jump that he had, Jake, if that does stay fair and goes down the line into left field, you're probably looking at another run on the board for the Admirals. 1-1 pitch to DeSalle, and he hits this through the 5-6 hole on the left side, and they'll just move station to station. The 3rd hit of the ball game for the Admirals. They now have runners on first and second.
Kenny DeSalle continuing to be that Crawdad killer, going 3 for 4 yesterday, already 2 for 2 today with 2 out of the 3 Admiral hits.
Couple of knocks for DeSalle. Runner in scoring position in the form of Chase Graves. So you got some good speed out there with the center fielder and the left fielder out there on the base paths. And here's the number 4 hitter, the designated hitter, Kirk Wolf. Wolf checks at the first pitch, doesn't go around and misses low and away. Good scramble there by Gilliam, the catcher. I'm sure Spolero wants to try to roll one up here, get a twin killing, get out of this top of the third. But the Admirals threatening. Out of the stretch is Spolero, misses high. That count 2-0. Spolero off the rubber. Just to get a new grip on the ball. Wolf 0 for 1 in today's ball game. 2-0 pitch. There's a fastball. Hits the zone inside, and the count 2-1. Spolero's got a fastball, a splitter, as the wind causing some collateral damage up here in the booth. There goes a scoring sheet. It can be retrieved. 2-1 pitch misses low and in, and the count 3-1, but the wind's starting to kick up here. Spolero peers in to the catcher Gilliam, fires. This is popped up. That's going to land somewhere behind our broadcast booth. Over in the bramble and the brush. And the count runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes, just 1 away. Spolero looking to limit any potential damage here. First real test of the ball game for the Crawdads. They're already down 1-0. The payoff pitch. Wolf swings, connects, but hits this very high on the infield dirt. Big pop-up coming in to make the catch is the shortstop, Cameron Calvillo. It's a good way to get out number 2. Maybe not the double play he wanted, but a pop-out. That's just as good.
Second pop-out of the game for Kirk Wolf. Getting a little under it, consecutive at-bats.
Popped out to the first baseman, Brome, and now to the shortstop, Calvillo. And here comes Seth Gwynn, the right fielder. So good job by Spolero to keep the designated hitter Wolf in check. And here's Gwynn. Missing low is Spolero. The count 1-0. 2 away here. 2 runners on. Still 1-0 Admirals. Three hits on the board so far for the Admirals, who hail from Solano, as this is fouled past the dugout of the Admirals. Taking a long time in between pitches here is Spalero. Now he sets at the belt. Takes a glance back to second. And delivers. Big swing and a miss there. And the count 0-2. Check that. Correction. A ball and 2 strikes. That's on me, folks. Gilliam looks like he's getting ready to set up outside. He does, as this is hit. Chopper. Farfan having to leap for it. Has it, and then just steps on the third base bag himself. Nice athletic play there from Max over at the hot corner for out number 3. So, after the top of the third, it is still 1-0. The Admirals did threaten with a couple of runners on at first and second, but Spalero able to put the clamps down and say, no mas. Oh, bottom of the third coming up. Once again, the Crawdads trail by 1. It is 1-0 Bay Area Admirals here in Danville, California. More Crawdads baseball when we return here on the Crawdads Streaming Network. Bottom of the third inning, 1-0 Admirals. Still Gonzalez on the mound. It's going to be 7, 8, and 9, bottom third of the order for the Crawdads. Start things off here. Going to be the catcher, Sam Gilliam. Gonzalez rocks and fires. Misses high and in. And the count 1-0. Working on getting Antoine Valerio up here, folks. Some interviews and just get his thoughts on what's going on here and how he's doing being back here for his second summer, and hopefully this time it's a full summer. We're going to set him up with a mic in a moment. So count 1-1. 1-1 pitch here to Gilliam as this misses off the catcher's glove, and the count 2-1. Two-one pitch to Gilliam on the way. Misses way outside. Seen Gonzalez get behind 3-1 a couple of times this afternoon. Hasn't given him any trouble, though. He's pitching strong. Hasn't given up a hit yet. The 3-1. This misses high. And there's a walk. So the Crawdads get a base runner. And it'll be the catcher, Sam Gilliam, over on first. Really the first bit of trouble that Gonzalez has found himself in. It's a first base runner all day for the Crawdads. Looks like we're about to have Mr. Antoine Valerio set up on the mic here as long as he's ready to go. You ready to go, Antoine?
Hear me?
We got you, Antoine, loud and clear. Thank you for joining us up here in the broadcast booth.
Yes, sir.
Pitch is fouled high. Is that going to stay in the field of play? It's going to land on the bleachers. Big bang there. Count 0-1 to Cam Calvillo. So, just to recap things, Sam Gilliam able to get on with a walk, and here's Cameron Calvillo.
Antoine, great performance yesterday. 3 innings pitched, obviously 2 strikeouts, no walks, so you obviously had that command. Got the one and run, but great start for you. Tell me your thoughts going into that game and your thoughts coming out.
It's been a while since the season began. Since the season ended, actually. So I was just excited to get on the mound. And like you said, no walks. I was happy with that. So, yeah.
Gonzalez getting ready for the 0-1. Acting like he was going to take off there was Gilliam, but retreating back to first, and that breaking ball almost came in and hit Cameron Calvillo, who's 4 for 6 so far this season. A nice 667 average and RBI. No strikeouts yet. Oh, Antoine, I know you were here last summer, but only for the very end of the summer and then through the playoff push. What made you want to come back? We're so happy to have you.
It was very fun here. I like the atmosphere. I like Coach Brand and the opportunities he was able to give me. It's just fun to be out here and play baseball, of course. And I feel like it's great exposure as well.
1-2 from Gonzalez is hit to the opposite field into foul territory. That's going to land in the bullpen of the Crawdads. So the count stays 1-2. And so, Antoine, pitching already a good start here this summer for you. I remember your first ever start as a Crawdad when you had to go into really the lion's den of Healdsburg, and you ended up throwing about 4 or 5 really strong innings and kept the Crawdads in the game. Crawdads eventually won that game with Gabe Tanner coming in and closing things down. But what are your goals this summer, Cam? What do you, or Antoine, what are you looking to do?
Hopefully able to transfer to a school in the fall. I was at a JUCO, so hopefully this brings up more opportunities for that. And I don't know, just able to play baseball,
1-2 pitch there was hit over to third, and the Admirals able to get an out over at second, so they do get the lead runner. Staying out of the double play are the Crawdads, so fielder's choice there. Cam will end up on first, will Mr. Calvillo, so a little bit more speed out there over at first, as Sam Gilliam was retired at second. That'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Griffin Harrison.
Antoine, I just wanted to talk to you a second about what you've seen from this team already. It's kind of the beginning of the season still. Guys are still getting to know each other and getting to know what all the other guys like, how they play, and really feeding off of one another. Can you tell me a little about what that's been like, especially now in your second season with the Crawdads?
It's very fun to see guys from different parts of the United States, different states. It's different personalities. You all get to mix together, see things that you might not normally see. So it's always fun to get to see how other people play the game that we all play, and just meeting new people and just getting after it. Yeah. Very fun.
Sorry about that, Antoine. 1-0 pitch there. Misses outside. The count 2-0. So, Antoine, there are more returners, like yourself included, this summer, which is great to see. A real culture being built here in Danville for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Were you surprised to see so many returning faces?
I wouldn't say surprised, but Brand has built up something that's fun to be around, so I'm not surprised that guys would want to come back and play. And also the competition is very up there, so yeah.
2-0 pitch, swung on and missed to the number 9 hitter here. Getting ready to deliver the 2-1 as Gonzalez against Griffin Harrison. Harrison looking for his first hit of the summer. 2-1 pitch. This hits the outside black, and the count 2-2.
Antoine, despite the great performance yesterday from yourself, it was disappointing loss. It was a very up and down game. Good game throughout, and in the end, unfortunately, the Crawdads were not able to pull out the win. What was the dugout like throughout the entirety of the game, and then unfortunately at the end when not the result you guys wanted?
We just try to stick to our plan. you never know what's going to happen at the end of 9. So you just got to stick to a plan, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If it does, it does. But we're always out there trying to win. So no matter the outcome, we just gave it our best.
One away here in the bottom of the third. The 2-2 pitch. This misses away, forcing the catcher Swanson to scramble there and make a good block. The count runs full 3-2 to the number 9 hitter, Griffin Harrison, a runner on first for the Crawdads. It's Cameron Calvillo. We're here in the booth being joined by Antoine Valerio. Antoine, after this pitch, I have a question about Mr. Spolero, who's on the mound today. The 3-2 pitch. This is hit into the left center field gap. Is that going to get down? It does. It kicks up against the wall. That's definitely going to be a double for Harrison, and sending the runner is Ryan Lovato. The Crawdads will tie the game up. It is now 1-1. Heck of a way to get your first hit of the season. Griffin Harrison out of the 9-hole.
Yes, sir, Harrison.
Well, things tied up here, 1-1. Still just one away, and another runner, first runner here in scoring position for the Crawdads. So big RBI double there right into the gap. So, Antoine, before that pitch, just a great piece of hitting there for Griffin.
For sure.
What are you seeing out of Spolero today? What do you think he's doing really well?
Filling up the zone, He looks very sharp. Everything's working. Looks firm. The fastball looks firm. Slider looks good. Fills up the zone quite well. So, it just looks well. I don't really know. He just looks good. He definitely looks good. He looks sharp.
Well, he is touching right around 94.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Sitting between 90 and 94.
It definitely does, looking like he's hucking it. So.
Right in that area.
For sure.
And good to see the Crawdads get on the board as Casey Cummings is ahead 1-0 here as the catcher Swanson goes out to talk to Mr. Gonzalez on the mound. So a brief pause here.
I think that's all we got for you, Antoine. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and give you a great luck in the rest of your season.
Appreciate it. Go Crawdads.
Yes, sir. Go Dads.
Antoine, great to have you back. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate you guys.
That was Antoine Valerio, returning pitcher this summer for the Crawdads. So happy to have him here. The 1-0 pitch to Casey Cummings, who has been, he's been drilled 4 times already this summer. Hit once again yesterday, and nearly hit right there on the wrist by Gonzalez. Harrison with small leadoff second, now stretches it out. This pitch misses low, the count 3-0. I want to thank Carson and Jake for setting that up with Antoine, getting him up here in the booth. That's something we always like to bring to you. We had different players up in the booth last season, whether it was Hollis Fanning, who's at Tennessee, or Mr. Kavares Tears. Ben Shoshan was popular man in the booth as this pitch misses outside. Casey Cummings finding ways to get on base. He's doing it with the bat a few times, but really, it's been getting hit or drawing a walk.
Well, that's the signs of a complete offensive hitter right there. Not just the hits. You got to be patient at the plate, disciplined, or willing to get hit. And Casey Cummings has shown that so far, but a great at-bat there. Way to work a walk, and now 2 runners on base for Brian Duroff.
So here's Brian Duroff. Casey Cummings still 0 for 1, but now the strikeout and the walk. And here's Duroff, who a little bit of a lazy swing there, just recognized the slider late and was already committed to swing. Seen a lot of first pitch swing and missing from Brian Duroff early this summer, but we know this man can hit. Count 0-1, game all knotted up, 1 apiece. There's that same slider. This one hung. Duroff, although gets under it into left field. It does drop in front of the left fielder, Kenny DeSell, and the bases will be loaded. Nearly getting caught off third there, trying to round, thinking about scoring was Harrison, but he's stopped up by Ryan Lovato, the third base coach for the Crawdads, and now we're going to see a mound visit for the Admirals. Looks like some action going in the bullpen. A righty warming up for the Bay Area Admirals, but here is a chance that, Jake, I think the Crawdads have to seize. We saw them yesterday. It seemed like they were just a few big hits from blowing the game wide open against the Admirals, and they just weren't able to get that. I'm not saying they didn't get hits they needed, but they just really never had that big inning where they put up 4, 5, 6 runs and got a golden opportunity here with the bases loaded and just one away.
Absolutely. You got to take advantage of opportunities with runners in scoring position, and great job there by Griffin Harrison not to go all the way on that, and conversely, not to stay too close to second base. Stood right in the middle of the two bags, exactly what you want to do on something that you don't know whether it's going to land.
So Gonzalez will face the lefty Ryan Brome, and this ball comes in and hits him right on the shoe top. And the Crawdads take the lead. So Brome standing in there like a real trooper, getting hit by the pitch. And the Crawdads now lead 2-1 as Harrison jogs home. And the bases remain loaded with just one away here in the bottom of the third.
Well, we were just talking about different ways of getting on base. How about different ways of scoring runs? An RBI hit by pitch for Ryan Brome, and continuing the amount of RBIs he has. Had 2 in the game Sunday against the Alameda Anchors. Another one yesterday, and how about another RBI today on a hit by pitch?
Oh, here is the third baseman, Max Farfan, who 0-for-1 with a strikeout, but good eye there, takes way outside. The count 1-0. And Gonzalez, who was so smooth through 2. I mean, he retired 6 batters in a row, and he's run into a lot of trouble here in the third, and it's still just 2-1, but some more damage could happen here for Gonzalez on the mound. 1-0 pitch to Farfan. This misses low and away, and the count 2-0. So in this half inning here in the bottom of the third, Gonzalez started off by walking Sam Gilliam, gave up the big double to Griffin Harrison, walked Casey Cummings, gave up a hit to DeRoff, and hit Ryan Brome with a breaking ball right on the shoe tops. 2-0 pitch. This, a fastball trying to get it right down the pipe, but it missed just a little bit low, and the count 3-0. And at risk of walking in a run here is the pitcher, the righty, Gonzalez.
And you know Max Farfan would take that. No RBIs on the year yet. Would take it any way he can get on base.
Well, we'll see if this is just a take all the way. We have seen a lot of 3-0 swinging, though, and that's just something that's at every level of baseball now. The 3-0 pitch, and this misses way high. No reason to swing at that when it's right around the shirt collar, and another run comes home. So it is 3-1 Crawdads, starting to build a little bit of a lead here, up by 2.
And great way to be patient on that. It probably was a take the whole way, and luckily enough for Farfan, he was able to take it high and get at the first RBI of the year for himself, and the third run of the game for Walnut Creek.
Now, looks like a new pitcher is going to be inserted here for the Admirals. We will update you on who the new man on the mound is for the Bay Area Admirals when we return. We'll take a brief break here on the Walnut Creek Crawdads streaming network. The Crawdads up 3-1 with one away here in the bottom of the third. Bottom of the third inning. Welcome back to Danville, California. The Crawdads have taken the lead. It is 3-1. The bases are loaded with just one away. There is a new pitcher on the mound, so a pitching change here. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by NorCal Oaks. The NorCal Oaks is a nonprofit organization dedicated to developing skilled players who want to excel in the game of baseball and softball while attaining strong character and life skills in a fun and positive environment. We love what the people over at NorCal Oaks do for the community. So, new pitcher on the mound. It is Josh Manis, who gets a swing and a miss with his first pitch. He's over at Santa Ana College. Is the righty. The bases are loaded. The 0-1 pitch, and this is hacked at, but hit foul out of play. The count 0-2 to Cole Fellows.
What we do know about Josh Manis is 6'4", so a very tall guy, 180, a little bit of lengthier guy. Does top out at about 89, so not overpowering stuff.
Fellows 0 for 1 today and looking to change things. However, he swings at a breaking ball down in the dirt. Good slider there. Started outside, came back in for Manis, and it's a good way to try to put a fire out right out of the bullpen for Manis out on the mound, newly inserted for the Admirals. So, after the strikeout, here comes Joey Donnelly. Donnelly popped out to center in his first at-bat, so he's 0 for 1. Fellows now 0 for 2. Pitch there to Donnelly. Righty on the mound, lefty in the box. It's a strike. The count 0-1. 2 away. Bases are loaded. Duroff over at third, Broma at second, Farfan over at first. Crawdads have scored 3 runs here in the bottom of the third, and just coming in and pounding the zone against Donnelly is Manis. Donnelly, the 9th man that the Crawdads have sent up to the dish this half inning. The 0-2 pitch, this misses low, taking a little bit off. There was Manis. And a count, a ball and 2 strikes. Get you a final line on the Admiral starter. Nick Gonsalves in a moment here. The 1-2 pitch as Donnelly checks at it, makes a little bit of contact. It's foul. Fortunate for Donnelly. Final line on Gonsalves. Still responsible for 3 runners out there. But he was able to get through 2 1/3 innings. 1-2 pitch. Donnelly takes the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Professional at bat from Donnelly right here. Just because he has 2 strikes on him, he's not swinging at anything and protecting the plate. He's making sure he still has a good eye and is watching those balls go by.
Manis ready. The 2-2 to Donnelly. Donnelly just fighting this off here. Trickles back into the backstop. Count 2-2. Staying alive is Joey Donnelly. Looking for something he can square up. The wheels really fell off for Gonsalves, today's starter for the Admirals. Got through 2 innings with relative ease, and things just fell apart here in the bottom of the third. The 2-2 pitch once again, and this is chopped softly over on the first base side, having to wait for it is Quintanilla. But he has it and steps on the first base bag for out number 3. But the Crawdads able to get 3 runs, only one of them coming off of a hit, and that was Griffin Harrison's huge RBI double. And that was his first hit and first RBI of the season. So it is now 3-1 Crawdads heading into the 4th. Top of the 4th coming up. Jake Baum will be on the call when we return here from Danville, California on the Crawdads streaming network.
Now pitching for the Crawdads going to be E.J. McGrew out of Williamette. Lefty deals, first pitch swing and a miss on a nice off-speed pitch. Now to Luke Rossi. Of course, this call to the bullpen is brought to you by NorCal Oaks. The NorCal Oaks is a nonprofit organization dedicated to developing skilled players who want to excel in the game of baseball and softball. The 1-0 pitch. This one, fastball outside, make it 1-1. So out of Williamette, E.J. McGrew, 6'2", 230, one of the bigger guys, and pitched 42 and a third innings for Williamette this past year. So heavy usage on the 1-1. This one is swung on, grounded straight to Calvillo at short. Goes on to Brome at first for the first out of the inning. Top of the fourth starts with an easy ground out straight to Cam Calvillo.
Great way to start things off coming out of the bullpen. Both starters now for the Crawdads and the Admirals out of the game, and it's going to be a bullpen game now here in the top of the fourth.
So up steps Alden Quintanilla, struck out swinging his first time up. Lefty McGrew winds and deals. Here it is. This one, off-speed pitch, looked like a slider in the strike zone, called strike one. 0-1 is the count. In those 10 games started from E.J. McGrew, posted a 5.74 ERA, along with 25 punch-outs. So now the 0-1, another slider in there for strike two, make it 0-2. Quick working and very efficient so far is E.J. McGrew in his first action of the season. This one is outside to Jacob Antenne. My apologies.
That's early, Jake. It happens. Happens to everybody.
This one inside. Another ball to the count, make it 2-2. Antenne, the student at the College of Marin, posted a 228 average this past year. No homers, but did knock in 24 runs. The 2-2 pitch, slider again. This time McGrew was able to knock it down. He regains his composure and goes on to Brome for the second out of the inning.
We saw a similar play from Spolero earlier in the game. This one, though, with a lot less velocity up to the pitcher, which is a good thing. But a couple of comebackers and another good kick save, this time able to get the out of the Crawdads.
So now we're going to see some lefty-on-lefty action from McGrew to Quintanilla. He did strike out swinging his first time up. We'll see what McGrew goes with here. That slider has been very effective so far for strikes. We'll see if we can get him to chase on anything. First pitch is a fastball. It's going to be grounded. First pitch fastball straight to Griffin Harrison at second, on to Brome. 3 up, 3 down. No hits, no runs, no errors for the Crawdads. We will head to the bottom of the fourth inning. You're listening to the Crawdads Streaming Network. So we're getting ready for the bottom of the fourth inning. Crawdads come up, trying to protect that 3-1 lead. Jake Baum alongside Alon Desai. So Sam Gilliam, the Hornet from Sacramento State, steps up, walking his first time up. Previously at Chabot. See what he's able to do against Josh Manis, who stays in there for the Admirals. Gilliam didn't get a start yesterday, however, on Sunday went 1 for 3 with a walk. Walking again now, or at least in his previous at-bat. Manis, not overpowering stuff, but can get you on his off-speed pitches.
Innings for Walnut Creek. Catcher number 17, Sam Gilliam.
Anything.
First pitch to Gilliam is going to be a pop-up. Calling for it, but not able to get it there was Alden Quintanilla. It's going to be an 0-1 count on Sam Gilliam.
Have to give Manis a lot of credit coming in out of the bullpen and making sure the bottom of the third didn't get any worse. I mean, that was a tough situation to be put in early here in the summer with the bases loaded.
So we'll await the 0-1 from Josh Manis. Here it is. That one's going to be an off-speed pitch right in the strike zone. Call it strike 2, so it's going to be 0-2 on Sam Gilliam.
That pitch looks good. He's fooled a few hitters with it, and really frozen them with that pitch. See if he goes back to it, maybe further away and down.
So on 0-2, what will Manis go with? Here it is. Gilliam fouls that straight back. Looks like Manis went with a heat on the 0-2. Not able to time that one correctly was Sam Gilliam.
Taking a little off, then immediately speeding things up. Manis, and classic pitching there. Now he can go wherever he wants.
So on 0-2, what will Manis do? He fires. This one's right down the middle, but apparently a little bit low. According to the home plate umpire McGee, it's going to be 1-2.
Seen Spolero try to hit that spot. Saw Gonzalez try to hit that spot. Now we see Manis try to hit that same spot. That area right around the knees just not there today.
So on 1-2, will Gilliam protect? He will. Check swing there. Ball going on to first just for some insurance. Call the first out on a swinging strikeout from Sam Gilliam.
Manis dealing out of the bullpen so far. Crawdads took them a couple of innings to get things going against the starter Gonzalez, and you wonder if it's going to be the same story here against Josh Manis, whether they're going to need to see his stuff for a couple of frames before they lock in and figure it out, find out the combination to the safe here.
So Calvillo up now. Nobody on. 3-1 game in favor of Walnut Creek. 1 out. First pitch to him outside, but called for a strike, so apparently on the outer edge of the plate. Call it 0-1. Calvillo grounded into a fielder's choice his last time up. Later came around to score on the Griffin Harrison double. So on 0-1, here it is from Manis. This one is outside, and it's going to be 1-1.
Really like how selective Cameron Calvillo has been so far early this season for the Crawdads.
On 1-1, here it is from Manis. This one outside again, make it 2-1. 3-1 game in favor of Walnut Creek Crawdads. 3 runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Crawdads. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for the Admirals. The 2-1 pitch incoming from Manis. This one's going to be swung on and popped straight up again. Will Quintanilla get to this one? He will. Call it the second out of the inning on a pop-up to first base.
We've seen a lot of plays in foul territory today, whether on the left side or the right side. And Quintanilla finally gets an out on one of those plays. We've seen Farfan not able to track a few balls down over there. So getting a little help for the pitcher there is the infield able to track the pop out in foul territory.
Now it's the guy who got the scoring started for the Crawdads back in the bottom of the third, Griffin Harrison, with that RBI double to score Cam Calvillo. First pitch to him with 2 outs is going to be a little bit low, called ball 1-1-0.
Don't always anticipate getting your run production from the number 9 hitter, but this lineup, if you want to be a good team, you got to be dangerous 1 through 9.
On 1-0 from Josh Manis. Here it is. Swung on, and this one popped up again into foul territory. We'll see if they're able to get to it. They will. That one right there was Luke Rossi nabbing the 3rd out. So no runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the top of the 5th inning here in Danville. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Walnut Creek Crawdads streaming network. McGrew stays in for the Crawdads, and he Wolfson. First pitch to Swanson, grounded straight to Farfan at second, but it's going to go a little bit foul and make it strike one. So an 0-1 count will be started on Christoph Swanson. Student at Texas A&M Texarkana. Catcher 5'8", 205. Just a freshman this past year at A&M Arcana. Only played in 6 games. Hit 200, no home runs, but did manage to hit an RBI and score 3 times. The 0-1 to him. This one a swing and a miss. Make it 0-2. From Rockland. The 0-2. This one, fastball outside, 1-2. McGrew looking to continue his good start to this game. Got 3 groundouts in a row to retire the side in the last inning. This one is driven into center field, but not too deep for Casey Cummings. Makes the play. 1 gone here in the 5th.
It's easy work out there for Casey Cummings. You know, he can track any ball down out there in center field, and that one just hanging up for him. So, light little jog. He probably could have walked over to it, Jake, and still caught it.
You are probably right, but now it's going to be the Georgetown commit, Blake Schaff. Schaff yesterday, 2 plate appearances, went 1 for 1 with a hit by pitch. And today so far has struck out and grounded out. First pitch to him will be on the outer edge of the plate on the lefty, make it 0-1. The 0-1 to the shortstop, swing and a miss. Make it 0-2 on Schaff. So 1 out, 3-1 game. Crawdads up on only 2 hits. Here's the 0-2 from McGrew. That one is foul deep past the Admirals dugout, and we'll do the 0-2 again. Schaff stands at 5'10", 160, batting from the left side of the plate. We'll see if McGrew goes to a slider here on the lefty in an attempt to make him swing and miss at something. Here's the 0-2. This one, fastball way inside, nearly hitting Schaff, but it's just going to be a ball, 1-2.
Good job by Schaff getting out of the way of that. Don't want to get hit on the wrists or anywhere near the hands. Just not fun.
Here's the 1-2 from McGrew. This is going to be a ground ball to Harrison at second base, on to Brome at first, who has to reach for it a little but makes the play. Call it a 4-3, and 2 gone here in the 5th.
Don't usually need to show off any kind of arm strength over at second, but having to put on a little extra velocity there was Griffin Harrison, as that was nearly an infield single.
The 3rd different position Harrison has played in the first 3 games. Starting at third base in the Sunday game, coming in for Calvillo at short yesterday, and now getting the start at second base. So here it's going to be Chase Graves, 0 for 1 with a walk so far today. This one's going to be a little low, 1-0.
Returning Crawdad, who similar story last season for the Crawdads. Ryan Ellis, similar to Harrison, playing all over the diamond, all over the infield.
The 1-0 to Graves. This one inside on a fastball, 2-0. Graves appeared in 34 games his sophomore year at University of Pacific, 37 in his junior year, going into his senior year, but managed to hit 6 home runs and 19 RBIs this past year. The 2-0 to him, high, fastball outside, 3-0. So we'll await the 3-0 from McGrew, hoping to make it another quick shutdown inning. The 3-0, that one, call it a strike, but not before Graves threw his bat in anticipation, thinking it'd be called a ball and a walk. So now 3-1. Will McGrew be able to work his way back into this at-bat? 2 gone, 3-1, Crawdads. Nobody on base. Here's the 3-1. This one high on another fastball. 4th ball, call it a walk to Chase Graves, his 2nd of the day.
Last two plate appearances now for Graves, both walks after starting out with a fly out to center. I think EJ will be okay. He just needs to make sure with 2 outs that runner over on first doesn't become a run.
Well, here's the issue for the Crawdads. We know Graves' speed, and of course, who's going to be at the plate but Kenny DeSell, the Crawdad killer, already 2 for 2 today. First pitch to him. That's going to be a ground ball straight to Farfan at third. Makes the throw to Brome at first. 1 pitch, and he gets DeSell out. So no runs, no hits, no errors. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th inning. You're listening to the Walnut Creek Crawdads streaming network. So Satchel Green comes in to relieve Josh Manis for the Admirals. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by NorCal Oaks. NorCal Oaks is a nonprofit organization dedicated to developing skilled players who want to excel in the game of baseball and softball. What do we know about Satchel Green, Alon?
Satchel Green from El Sobrante went to Salesian, so Salesian Prep over in the East Bay, and he's got a pretty sweet name, too, for a pitcher. Satchel, I mean, that you got to love that.
Onto your Satchel Page. So, and 1. Satchel Green had a lot of interest coming out of high school. Graduated back in 2021. Interest from USC, A&M, Florida, Florida State. The 0-1. This one outside and low, 1-1. Chose Salesian.
Final line here on Josh Manis after this next pitch.
So the 1-1 to Cummings. This is going to be a fastball driven into left field. Will it get out? You bet it will. 4-1 Crawdads. Casey Cummings on his first home run of the year.
Ooh. Rude awakening for Satchel Green on the mound. Comes in, and Casey Cummings was waiting to see him flex his power this summer. He does it here in game number 3. I think, I've been talking to Austin and some other people around the club, I really think he has a chance to not only be the best player on this ball club this summer, but he's got a big future in front of him.
Leading off every game so far for the Crawdads and doing a great job of getting on base. We haven't seen the extra base hit power until now, at least this year, putting the Crawdads up 4-1. Third hit of the day for the Crawdads. So 1-1, now a runner in scoring position is Joey Donnelly. Sam Gilliam at the plate, 4-1 Crawdads. The 1-1 awaiting from Nate Meredith. Here it is. This one, fastball rides inside, 2-1. So Nick Gonzalez started this game. Josh Manis came in. Satchel Green came in, surrendered that home run to Casey Cummings, and now it's Nate Meredith for the Admirals. The 2-1 to Gilliam. Outside right there, but gets the benefit of the doubt on the call from home plate umpire. Make it 2-2. Wind blowing in from the home plate side out to right field. Light breeze at the moment. Heavier earlier. Still nobody out. Runner on second is Donnelly after a stolen base. The 2-2 count to Gilliam. This one a check swing foul as well. Didn't really get that full rotation on that swing. And you could see Gilliam was outwardly disappointed in that attempt. Two-two to Gilliam incoming from Meredith. Here it is. This one outside, and Donnelly's going to go and attempt for third. Will he get in there safely? Of course he will. So just mismanagement and a very risky attempt from Joey Donnelly there, but makes it into third safely.
Well, the way you said it, of course he will. I mean, you knew it. You knew it was going to happen, and Donnelly showed off the wheels there and trying to manufacture a run here are the Crawdads.
It'll remain a full count, nobody out now to Sam Gilliam, looking to pick up an RBI here. Here's the full count pitch, and it'll swung it, driven into right field. How about an RBI single for Sam Gilliam? His first RBI hit of this young season.
Definitely paid off to have Donnelly make it all the way to third. Just makes it an easy trot on home for him after that little knock there from Sam Gilliam. And now Cameron Calvillo has a chance to keep the party rolling.
Calvillo up now, bottom of the sixth, make it 5-1 Crawdads. Calvillo so far 0 for 2 after some impressive showings these past few days. Managed to hit 2 doubles on Sunday against the Anchors and 2 singles in his only 2 at-bats yesterday against these Admirals. Runner at first is Gilliam, still nobody out. Calvillo steps in, sees this first one. Looked like a fast off-speed pitch there. Called for a strike, 0-1. So now 0-1 on Calvillo, the Ohlone College product. The 0-1 to him will be driven way foul down the third base line. But on the left side of it, it's going to make it 0-2. That one just rode inside on that one. Coming right back into the zone, but not enough for Calvillo to really keep it fair. Swinging early on an off-speed pitch, thinking it was maybe a little bit of an inside fastball. The 0-2 to him now. This one swinging again, but driving it the other way, foul, and it'll remain 0-2. Once again, Gilliam at first, 5-1 Crawdads. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And Gilliam will go. It's going to be a hit and run. This ball is grounded to third base, but not able to retrieve that one was Luke Rossi at third. Gilliam heads all the way to second. And rounding second, going to third, it's going to be Calvillo ending up at second base on what will likely be called an error on the third baseman, Luke Rossi.
And you might even be able to say there's a couple on that play as it got past the shortstop, backing him up, Blake Schaff as well. So it goes through the wickets of Luke Rossi, and then Schaff comes on and goes, hey, I can one-up you there, Luke. Let me try. And right through his legs as well. And now runners on second and third for the Crawdads. Just a comedy of errors there for the Bay Area Admirals.
First error of the day for either team coming on that play. But now 2 runners in scoring position for Griffin Harrison, who started the scoring for the Crawdads earlier today, back in the third with an RBI double to score Calvillo. 5-1 game. This first pitch to Harrison's going to be outside and 1-0. So Gilliam at third, Calvillo at second after an error from third baseman Luke Rossi and a subsequent fielding mistake from shortstop Blake Schaff to allow both runners to get in scoring position. 1-0. This one is driven high and shallow into right field, but it's going to land. Gilliam was holding up, thinking that it wasn't going to land, but ends up going home safe on what seemed like a very slow play. He was just jogging home thinking he'd make it safely. It ended up being a decently close play at the plate. But Gilliam gets in safely to extend the lead. 6-1 Crawdads and an RBI single from Griffin Harrison.
Usually we call that kind of the Bermuda Triangle out there between the right fielder, the second baseman, and the first baseman. But that's usually when the play's a little bit deeper out, maybe about 10 to 12 yards further out from the lip of the grass and the infield dirt. That was right behind first base, and just another error, bad defense there from the Admirals.
Still nobody out. Runners at the corners now. Calvillo at third, Harrison at first. 6-1 Crawdads, and Cummings looking for another one. Harrison going on the first pitch and making it into second safely. How about a stolen base for Griffin Harrison to add to his already impressive outing?
Griffin Harrison out of the 9 spot. The RBI double earlier, back in the third, and then now stealing a bag here after being gifted with a base hit just moments ago.
Cummings 1 for 2 so far with that home run. This pitch will be outside. Call it another ball to it. 2-0. Cummings also did walk in the third. Later came around to score. So 2-0 to Casey Cummings. Here it is. This one outside and a little bit low. Make it 3-0. So runners at second and third. Harrison at second after the stolen base. Calvillo at third. Here's the 3-0 to Cummings. No swing, no intent, and it's going to be a walk. Another one for Casey Cummings to add to his impressive outing today. Still nobody out for the Crawdads, and it's going to be Brian Duroff.
Definitely looks like the zone is tightened up a bit, especially on the outer half here from home plate umpire Robert McGee. I mean, a couple of pretty good pitches in that sequence, and neither getting a strike call, so just a couple of centimeters off home plate, and the bases are loaded for the Dads, who are just piling it on here and looking to add more.
Certainly wouldn't mind any more runs, already 6-1, but after the disappointing game yesterday for the Crawdads, they feel no mercy about pounding on this one.
Well, yesterday, they're definitely taking some of their frustration out from yesterday today. I mean, not only are they having fun down in the dugout, they're up 6-1, but the fact that they had the game yesterday in the bottom of the 8th, they were up by a couple of runs. That's when you want your guy to come in, close things down. Just couldn't get it done. Troy did not have the control out of the bullpen, so getting a little revenge here this afternoon are the Dads.
6 hits, 3 two-hit innings for the Crawdads, all of which they've had players come over and score. So Duroff steps in now. 1 for 3 so far today. Managed a single in the third. Nobody out. Bases loaded for the Crawdads. Here's the first pitch to him. This one a little bit low on an off-speed 1-0. Duroff shouldn't be too shy here with the bases loaded and a manageable, sizable lead for the Crawdads. The 1-0. This one, fastball right over the plate, 1-1. Surprised to see Duroff not go for that one in this situation.
Yeah, he took the first pitch smartly, and he's had some trouble so far early this season with going after some not ideal first pitches, but that one looked like a pretty hittable ball.
The 1-1 to Duroff. This one, slider, starts inside, ends inside. Call it inside, 2-1.
Well, with nobody out and the bases loaded, Duroff just has to put the ball in play. He has to be thinking ball in the dirt, just put it somewhere, force the defense to make a play, and get a run.
The 2-1 to Duroff. This one, fastball over the plate once again, a little bit low, but called a strike, 2-2.
I mean, any contact here, unless it's right back at the pitcher or a laser to one of the corners, is going to score a run.
Another 2-2 from Meredith to Duroff. Here it is. This one will be swung on and fouled down the third base line. We'll do another 2-2. Six-1 Crawdads. 6 runs, 3 hits. 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors. For the Crawdads, 1 run on 3 hits, 1 error. Coming in this inning for the Admirals. The 2-2 to Brian Duroff. Outside and high, 3-2. So now what a situation to be in if you're Duroff and the Crawdads. Full count, nobody out. Bases loaded, already up by 5.
Just sitting here dead red and don't go after anything way out.
The full count to Duroff. This one swung on, fouled back. We'll do 3-2 again.
That was close. That was close. If he gets into that, there's going to be some good things happening for Walnut Creek.
Beautiful day here, if not a little bit windy in Danville. Got kids playing softball to the right and playing football just a little bit north. out in the distance. Full count here with nobody out to Duroff. And this one will be low. And how about an RBI walk for Brian Duroff? Back-to-back walks. Score one for the Crawdads to make it 7-1.
Crawdads have gotten the big blast to left from Casey Cummings. They've gotten, extra base hits. They've had some stolen bases, but really to get things going and continue the scoring production for Walnut Creek, it's been drawing walks and getting base on balls RBIs. So, not the way you dream up of scoring, but hey, there's still no outs and the bases are still loaded.
And that'll be the end of the day for Nate Meredith. So we will take a short break and bring you the new pitcher when we get back. 7-1 Crawdads. You're listening to the Crawdads Streaming Network. So new pitcher for the Bay Area Admirals is going to be Will Wentworth. This call to the bullpen brought to you by NorCal Oaks. The NorCal Oaks is a nonprofit organization dedicated to developing skilled players who want to excel in the game of baseball and softball. Will Wentworth standing in a tall, lengthy guy, 6. Goes to San Joaquin Delta College. Graduated in 2022 from Granada High School. Lefty, looking to get some outs now. Still bases loaded. Crawdads up by 6. Nobody out for Ryan Brome.
Saw Manis come in earlier for the Admirals with the bases loaded and a really, big jam. And the game was much closer. It wasn't a 6-run ball game at that juncture, but it was just 3-1. But now 7-1, and just trying to make sure they don't get skunked out here are the Admirals, trying to put someone in, looking for some answers here on the mound.
So some lefty-on-lefty action. Brome hoping to get his first hit of the day. 0 for 2. Did manage to get an RBI hit by pitch back in the third. First pitch to him will be outside, 1-0. Brome also struck out in the first and flew out in the fifth. But a deep fly out it was. The 1-0 to him. This one, he'll hesitate and not go around on that one. It'll be low, 2-0. Now 1-1. Here it is to Brome. Outside, 2-1. Brome looking to drive in possibly a couple. With Duroff at first, Cummings at second, and Harrison at third. The 2-1 to Brome. Here it is, low, 3-1.
Well, if Brome sticks to character here, doesn't break character, there's a good chance he draws a walk.
See if that does come into fruition. Certainly wouldn't mind another RBI on his ledger. On 3-1, here it is from Wentworth to Brome, swing and a miss, 3-2.
Good pitch to go after there from Brome, just couldn't connect. Now he's just got to sit on something and keyhole something here. Payoff pitch situation.
So the full count pitch to Brome incoming. Nobody out. 7-1 Crawdads. Here it is. This one outside. RBI walk for Brome, right as you predicted.
Well, I'm sure Ryan is much happier about that RBI than he was the last one. The last one was a breaking ball that came in and hit him right on the toe, right on the shoe top. So this time he doesn't have to sacrifice the body to get the RBI, but yet again, a free run essentially for the Crawdads.
So the fourth walk of the inning issued by the Admirals, and the third in a row, the second RBI walk in a row. Puts it up to Max Farfan, still looking for that. He was looking for that first hit of the day. He managed to double back in the fifth. This first pitch he's hacking 0-1, swing and a miss. So 1 for 2, struck out back in the second, RBI walk in the third, and then doubled in the fifth. 8-1 Crawdads. The lefty Wentworth deals. Here it is. This one looked a little inside, but was over the plate. 0-2.
Update you on some action after this next pitch. What's going on around the rest of the California Collegiate League?
Still here in the bottom of the sixth inning. Nobody out, bases loaded. The 0-2 to Farfan. Swing and a miss. Strikeout swinging for Max Farfan.
Finally, a much-needed out for the Admirals. But bases will stay occupied. This look around the CCL is brought to you by American Stage Tours. American Stage Tours, small enough to care and large enough to compete. So, Crawdads obviously up here 8-1 in the bottom of the sixth against the Bay Area Admirals, but also in action.
First pitch outside, this time to Cole Fellows.
Tonight, it's going to be the Healdsburg Prune Packers as well as the Lincoln Potters. A 7 p.m. first pitch scheduled between the OC Riptide and the Inland Valley Bucks. Unfortunately, no other game going on right now, just a few getting ready.
The 1-0 to Fellows fouled over the Admirals dugout, and it's going to be 1-1.
The only other league game scheduled for today, and that is with two league teams playing each other in division. It's between Lincoln and Sonoma. That's at McBean Stadium up in Lincoln.
So 1-1, 1 out. Uno's wild. Bases loaded. 8-1 Crawdads. This pitch is going to be on the outer edge of the plate. To the lefty Fellows, 1-2. Still 0 for 3 today is Cole Fellows, grounding out to second base twice and striking out in the third. Here it is, the 1-2 from Wentworth. And how about another grounder to second base, but will he be able to handle it? Not in time for Cole Fellows, who makes it with his speed to first, and it's going to be likely an RBI error on that one. Call an E4 for those scoring at home.
Poor fielding, once again, it's really hurt the Admirals here in this bottom of the sixth. This time out there over at second. Fellows, hey, you can only do what's given to you, and he made it over to first, and another run comes across home plate.
So to sort of echo what happened this past Sunday, as Donnelly steps in, 1 out, bases loaded, this first pitch is going to get away from Swanson. 1-0, where the Crawdads were able to score 13 runs, and it was various ways, mostly not from hits. The Crawdads have already scored 5 runs in this inning and still have bases loaded, 1 out, on only 2 hits and 4 walks, and now some errors. So the 1-0 incoming to Donnelly, bases loaded. He checks his swing, but the umpire says it was in the strike zone anyway. It's going to be 1-1.
And like you mentioned, Jake, it's one of those things. If the other team is going to give you runs, if they're going to gift you free offense without you really having to work for it, you do it and you don't complain, and you wish every day was that easy.
Donnelly on 1-1. This ball will curve right back into the strike zone. 1-2. Donnelly 0 for 2, but does have a walk. And that was to lead off this inning. So his second plate appearance of the inning.
First time that the Crawdads have sent 10 up in an inning. They sent up 9 in the third.
The 1-2 to Donnelly. swings and misses at this one, and he'll go down for his first strikeout of the game, and the second for Wentworth. Coming up to the plate now, it's going to be Gilliam for the second time of the inning. Single, not an RBI, single, and a stolen base for Gilliam his last time up.
Gilliam has been an important player here in the middle portion of the game. I can't believe we're still in the middle portion, really, in the bottom of the sixth. But, already with an RBI in this half inning, and she's got a golden opportunity for another.
Base is still full of Crawdads who lead 9-1, and the first pitch is line straight to Jacob Antonet on the first pitch for the third out. But the Crawdads score 5 in the bottom of the sixth, and we'll head to the top of the seventh. Crawdads up 9-1. You're listening to the Crawdads Streaming Network.
Top of the seventh inning, the Crawdads with the lead. They have the game in their grip. It is 9-1 Walnut Creek over the Bay Area Admirals. There is going to be a new pitcher on the mound. So this call to the bullpen is brought to you by NorCal Oaks. So NorCal Oaks is a nonprofit organization dedicated to developing skilled players who want to excel in the game of baseball and softball. So new pitcher, it's going to be a righty. It's going to be Blair for the Crawdads. He comes in, redshirt freshman from UC Berkeley. Oh, one of the many Bears on this roster, whether it's Joey Donnelly or Nico Button. You have Blair, so the Crawdads looking to sew up a game that they lead by 8 runs. Tyler Blair is going to be pressed into service here. The righty stands at 6'1", 185 pounds, hails from Belvedere, California. Beautiful area. So Blair just getting done with his warm-ups. So far, give you a recap here. The Crawdads with 9 runs on 6 hits, no errors. The Bay Area Admirals a run, 3 hits, 2 errors themselves. The Admirals' lone run came in the second. They were ahead during this ball game, 1-0 after 2, but then it's been all Crawdads since then. 3 runs in the bottom of the third, 1 in the fifth, and 5 just recently in the bottom of the sixth.
How about a way to fight back after the game yesterday? Looks the way they wanted.
Yeah, after not being able to get anything going yesterday on the mound, I mean, pitching-wise, what a turnaround performance for this Crawdads team. There is a pinch hitter here. It's going to be Kobe Rolling. Now, Rolling going to lead things off here in the top of the seventh for the Admirals. First pitch here from Blair, misses outside, the count 1-0. Now Rolling The pinch hitter here takes high, and the count 2-0. He's ahead. Rolling is pinch hitting for Quintanilla. Now plug him into the 8th spot. 2-0 pitch. That finds the zone. The count 2 balls and a strike. Crawdads lead 9-1. Getting a little chilly out here, Jake.
Absolutely, but no place you'd rather be.
It's baseball season. 2-1 pitch. Big cut. Big miss. And the count 2-2.
Rolling plays at Feather River College and got the start at second base yesterday, batting leadoff and notched 3 hits, going 3 for 4 and reaching base every single plate appearance. Also on an error and a walk.
Lefty bat of Rolling, awaiting the 2-2. Here it is, and climbing the ladder there is Blair, and getting the punch out is Tyler Blair. So 1 away. Kobe Rolling, the pinch hitter, is retired. That'll bring up the number 9 man, Christoph Swanson.
Catcher Christoph Swanson.
On deck, Blake Schaff. So the number 8 man retired. Good job coming out of the pen here for Blair. 6 pitches and gets a strikeout. Swanson takes a big breaker there, right down the middle. Kind of froze him in the count 0-1. Crawdads will be back at it tomorrow. This pitch, fastball, misses away. The count 1-1. Tomorrow, game time, 4 p.m. It'll be at Solano College against these very same Admirals, the 3rd game of a 3-game set. As this is foul tipped into the catcher's mitt. Count 1-2.
Impressive debut on the season for E.J. McGrew, whose final line sits at 3 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, 2 walks, no strikeouts. Very efficiently getting through the inning.
1-2 pitch. This is lined over to the second baseman, Harrison, who throws on to first. Round number 2. Took a little bit of a weird hop there. Looked like it had more speed off the bat than it eventually did when it got to Griffin Harrison, but it's 2 away.
I was impressed by the way Griffin Harrison handled that, originally trying to catch it and just on a live drive out, but he stepped back, took his time on that one, and fielded it cleanly for the out.
Manager Brant Cummings has to be happy about that. He also, like you mentioned, Jake, has to be very happy with the pitching performances he's seen today. Righty Blair fires, but misses. The count 1-0. Pretty good fastball so far from Blair. Blake Schaff up to bat. He's 0 for 3, a strikeout, a couple of ground outs. Now the pitch that misses. The count 2 balls and no strikes. Two-0 pitch here. Blake Schaff pops this out of play. Count 2-1.
So after getting a hit in his only at-bat yesterday, Schaff 0 for 3 today, 2 groundouts and a strikeout. Just testament to the efficient pitching of the Crawdads all over here today.
2-1 on the way from Blair. Big rip and a miss. Count 2-2. Looking for second strikeout, and the 3rd out here in the top of the 7th is Tyler Blair. Really, I think maybe the Crawdads got all the nerves out yesterday a little bit and got acclimated to each other, and this is the team that everybody wanted to see. This pitch is flipped foul. Down the left side, that'll land in the brush. Count stays 2-2.
That one rolled for a while down there into the trees.
Sure, someone's going to go hunt for it. It's going to take a little while to find.
Looks like it's going to be the man in the cutoff hoodie.
Big deep breath out there for Blair. Now he winds and deals. 2-2 pitch. This is knocked into the opposite field, into left field, gets down. It'll kick up onto the warning track. Donnelly does track it down, but that's a double all the way there for Blake Schaff, who is 0 for no longer. He is now 1 for 4.
Yeah, professional at bat from Blake Schaff. We saw him foul a few off, and good inning so far for Blair. You can have a miscue here and there. Hey, that rhymes.
And that's the perfect term for it too. I mean, that's what that was, a professional at bat. It's a 9-1 ball game right now. Blake not having his best day at the plate, but still goes up there. He's trying to do good things, and he ends up with a good opposite field stand-up double. Now here's Chase Graves. Looking back to second is Blair. Now he'll fire, misses high. The count 1-0 to Graves. Graves 0 for 1 today, but has reached base twice in the third and the fifth, both by drawing a walk. Short peek back to second, and firing a strike there is Blair. Count, ball and strike. 2 away, but a runner in scoring position. Crawdads lead by 8. 9-1 Walnut Creek. Gilliam has a sign. Down, and Blair obliges. Count 2-2. A good pitch there from Blair. Pace of the game has slowed down with all the runs that the Crawdads have been scoring. Last couple of innings is this fastball, trying to ramp things up. This misses high. Blair, a redshirt freshman over at Cal Berkeley. Pitch here from Blair. This misses. And the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. A little bit of housekeeping here. Oh, payoff pitch coming from Blair. Here it is, and this is a screamer foul right over our broadcast booth here at Monte Vista High School. So we'll do 3-2 once again. Runner on second. Schaff with a little bit of a lead and a big swing and a miss. Set him down, Tyler Blair. That's a strikeout, and that's the end of the top of the 7th. So Blair comes in, doesn't give up any runs, just the double to Blake Schaff. And after 6.5, it is still 9-1 Crawdads. Bottom of the 7th coming up when we return here on the Crawdads Streaming Network.
off the bottom of the seventh inning for Walnut Creek. Shortstop number 3, Cameron Calvillo.
Bottom of the seventh, Cameron Calvillo going to lead things off. Crawdads lead this one 9-1 against the Bay Area Admirals. And Calvillo drives this into the left center gap. That's going to get down. That's a base hit for Cameron Calvillo.
Wanting to join the party there. One of the few Crawdads today not with a hit. Gets on the board there. His first base hit of the day. Second time reaching base after reaching on an error in the sixth. Part of the on-base brigade in the bottom of the sixth inning. That starts the seventh right here.
It was a hit parade, so Calvillo over at first, and Wentworth having to deal with leadoff hitter getting on. There's Griffin Harrison, the 9-hitter who hits this over to the second baseman. Anthony, who has some trouble with it, so he can't get the double play. Instead, just has to go to first for the first out.
We've seen Anthony struggle with a few of those balls, specifically the one that Cole Fellows hit earlier in this back in the sixth inning, and he reached base successfully on that error, but misses the opportunity for a double play there. No Crawdads will be disappointed though on that one.
I mean, that was tailor-made. That was a good pitch, and that was tailor-made for a double play, and it just didn't materialize. So there's going to be a pinch hitter here for Casey Cummings. It's going to be Tyson Pointer. Cummings' day is done. A very good day, too. A couple of walks and a big home run. Oh, here's Pointer. Pointer takes the first pitch. Pointer hitting a 250. Already has a home run and 3 RBIs himself. Count 1-0 to Pointer. 1-0 pitch from Wentworth. This misses outside. The count 2-0, so pretty good at bat so far from Pointer.
University of Texas Arlington student had that big 3-run home run in that first game, the 13-2 victory over the Anchors this past Sunday.
2-0 pitch from Pointer. This one kind of jams him. He hits it on the left side. Rossi, the third baseman, up with it, throws over to first. Oh, and it's muffed there by the man over at first, Kobe Rolling.
Looks like it'll probably be an E3.
Yeah, that's got to be ruled an error there on the first baseman, so error over there at first.
Right fielder Ryan Durant.
And I want to check something here. So that's actually Luke Rossi now over at first, and Kobe Rowland is the third baseman. So Rowling, who came in for Quintanilla, is now over at third. And Rossi switches corners over at first. So the error goes to Rossi. And here's Duroff, who fouls this back. So it should have been an out. Instead ends up as an E3. So Pointer at first. Calvillo moves over to third. And there's runners on the corners with one away for Brian Duroff, who is down 0-1 here. There's pitch in there for a strike. Duroff now down 0-2. A lot of moving parts here. Bottom of the seventh, Duroff flew out in his first at-bat, then had a hit in the third. Popped out in the fifth. Got an RBI and a walk. His last plate appearance, this little blooper out to right field, and getting there for the catch is Seth Gwynn. And tagging up, though, is Cameron Calvillo. So it is now an even 10 spot for the Crawdads. It is 10-1, Walnut Creek, a 9-run ball game. Another RBI for Brian Duroff.
And it's great that he was able to do that, get another run and an RBI for the Crawdads. However, he just missed that. That was a perfect pitch. Slider down the middle. He was able to just be a little bit earlier on that. You just know he could have sent it yard.
Here's Ryan Brome, who thought he had a chance at a home run earlier. A great play by Kenny DeSell out there in left field. Robbed him for sure of a double. Pitch outside, the count 1-0 to the lefty Ryan Brome. But Brome's last appearance, he walked, collected an RBI. Also had a hit-by-pitch RBI in the third. Count 1-1 to Ryan Brome. Pitch misses. Count 2-1. So, good day at the office for the Crawdads today, able to put up 10 runs, and actually told manager Brent Cummings before the game started, I said, would you like to see 10 runs today? He said, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a lot of runs today. And boys, he got his. This pitch misses inside, and that strike zone just squeezing ever tighter as the game progresses here. It is now 3 balls and a strike. 2 away. Runner on first. 3-1 pitch. That fastball finds the outer half. And the count runs full, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Interested to see why Brome didn't choose to swing on that one. It seems like he's been very patient. You know, we already see the walk and the hit by a pitch so far today, but very patient hitter in Brome.
Brome swings, but comes up empty here. That'll end the inning, but the Crawdads do get a run. It is now 10-1. Top of the 8th coming up. Crawdads lead the Admirals by 9 here on the Crawdads Streaming Network.
Take a look outside this game in the CCL. Still, according to point streak, it's 0-0 in the pregame. Sonoma Stompers and Lincoln Potters. We'll get you a score there as soon as we possibly can. Taking a look forward to tomorrow, Crawdads face the Admirals once again, as well as the Mudcats from Solano taking on Healdsburg and the Prune Packers. And the Potters will once again play the Stompers. That one starting, or at least scheduled to start at 6:05 p.m. That Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by American Stage Tours. American Stage Tours, small enough to compete, or small enough to care, large enough to compete.
Jacob Anthony up at bat, the count 1-1. Want to apologize, really am sorry about that. Our connection here at Monte Vista High School was interrupted, but we are back at when we went off the air. What ended up happening was 3 different batters were walked as this is chopped foul down the third baseline, but things started off with a walk of Kenny DeSalle, then of Enyar and Seth Gwynn. Luke Rossi, though, just struck out in the count 1-2 to Jacob Antona, who is 1 for 3 with an RBI double back in the second. And the Crawdads still leading 10-1, Jackson Howell is on the mound for the Crawdads as he misses high. He is really trying to crank things up with the heater. The count 2-2, one away. Bases are loaded. So once again, do apologize for the technical difficulties, but glad we're back on air here. And this pitch is hammered to deep left field. Will it stay fair? That would have been a grand slam, and it's just feet foul to the left. Could not keep it inside the foul pole down the 325 area of the ballpark. Ooh, there was a charge into that one.
If you were Jacob N today, you must be very upset at that. Inches foul, and there's no way to review it or anything. Man, he put a charge into that one.
It's a 9-run ball game, but a grand slam. He put up 4 runs on the board. I mean, that definitely would help things out. Pitch here misses high. The count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Line score so far, 10 runs for the Crawdads off 7 hits, no errors. 1 run, just the 1 run for the Bay Area Admirals, who put up 10 themselves yesterday. 4 hits, 3 errors for them. Big swing and a miss. That's back-to-back strikeouts authored there by Jackson Howell. So 2 away. Bases are still loaded. Howell trying to get out of the jam that he put himself in with the 3 straight walks.
Beautiful way to work back in it. And he has an opportunity now to leave the bases loaded after getting into a situation where he had bases loaded, nobody out, back-to-back strikeouts. Give him a great situation here, or a great opportunity against Rolling.
Kobe Rolling takes a first pitch strike, and the count 0-1. Rolling is already 0 for 1 today with a strikeout, so it's a good guy to go right after for Jackson Howell. Pitch here, big swing and a miss, and the count 0-2. Jackson Howell, after walking 3 straight batters, he's looking to get 3 in a row via the punch out here. Can he do it? Can he pull it off? The count 0-2. Bases are still loaded. DeSell over at third. And Yard at second. Gwynn at first. Kicks and fires does Jackson, but misses high. The count, a ball and 2 strikes. Jackson Howell going to pick up the rosin. Do a little housekeeping there on the rubber. And looks in, has his sign, and delivers. Took a little off there, but ringing up Kobe Rolling is Jackson Howell. So after walking 3 straight batters, he strikes out 3 in a row. The bases are left loaded. No runs come across the score.
Howell, you like that?
10-1, Walnut Creek still. Bottom of the 8th coming up when we return here on the Walnut Creek Crawdads streaming network.
5 on the hill.
Bottom of the 8th inning, 10-1 Crawdads. They still lead it by 9, able to get out of a tough, sticky situation just moments ago was Jackson Howell. And now there's going to be a new pitcher once again for the Admirals. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by NorCal Oaks. The NorCal Oaks is a nonprofit organization dedicated to developing skilled players who want to excel in the game of baseball and softball. The new pitcher is Jared Wood. He comes from a land down under. He is a righty out of Australia, and he played at short yesterday, and now he's being pressed into, well, no other way to put it, mop-up duty here for the Admirals, who are down by 9.
6 foot 170. This past season, 4 walk to 9 strikeouts, 15 innings pitched, but a 9 ERA. So he's able to stay in the strike zone, but he's been hit well, at least this past season.
Well, it's just that fine line, Jake, of throwing strikes, but, not getting hit while you're trying to pound the zone. So see what Wood has for the Admirals. It's going to be Sam Gilliam leading things off. No, and check that. It's actually Max Farfan. It's number 7, not number 17. I thought I saw 7, but when I look at the scorebook here, it's going to be Farfan, Fellows, and Donnelly, pending any pinch hits. And Farfan takes there, and the count 0-2. Max has a couple of strikeouts today, but in between those, a walk and a double back in the 5th. So he takes here in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Bottom of the 8th, Crawdads looking to lock up their first win in CCL play this season. Got to an even 1-1 record in the North Division. As this pitch is fouled back, and count holds at 1-2.
So Wood never pitched in college at University of the Pacific. However, in high school, he pitched 23.1 innings his senior year and had a .77 ERA.
.77 through 23 innings pitched, as this is hit into center field, and it hangs up long enough there for Chase Graves to make the catch. There's one away. So 23 innings, sub-1 ERA.
And on top of that, 47 strikeouts, so he's averaging over 2 strikeouts an inning.
Well, we saw the arm yesterday over at short, so you know he can throw hard, and he's got some good stuff. But that's interesting. No pitching in college after seemingly being dominant in high school. This pitch is belted out to right field. Is that going to drop? It does. I thought maybe it would get over the wall. Instead, that's a double for Cole Fellows. He got into that ball. And for a moment, I thought he had bailed it up enough maybe to get it out of here, but instead, a double.
But gets his first extra base hit of the year here after an RBI error back in the 6th, seeming like everyone was getting an RBI at some point. But gets his first extra base hit of the year here in a double.
He'll feel good about that as Fellows is hopping and skipping off of second, as this pitch is fouled back into the cage by Donnelly. Donnelly out in the 6th. This pitch misses, and the count 1-1. Just one away here in the bottom of the 8th. I do wonder if Jackson Howell is going to stay on to finish things up for the Crawdads. As a big cut. Not able to connect there by Donnelly as he kind of chased one high and outside, and the count a ball and 2 strikes. One-two pitch to Donnelly. Takes all the way here. This was letter high. Count draws even at 2-2. Wood looks back to second, and Fellows kind of started to take off. Check down to third base umpire Mike Stankiewicz to see if Donnelly went around. He did not. So the count is full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. The runner in scoring position. Crawdads up 10-1.
Great job checking his swing right there for Joey Donnelly.
Pitch to Donnelly. Donnelly just pokes at it, and it's speared out of the air over on the left side there by third baseman. Antona.
Gilliam so far today as he steps up to the plate. 1 for 3. Walk, stolen base, run scored, and an RBI in the 6th.
Pitch to Gilliam from Wood, and right over to the third baseman, Antona, who muffs it a bit off the heel of his glove and then cannot throw out the catcher, Gilliam. So that's going to be an error. That's got to be an E5. That's a routine ground ball that he has to pick up and make a good throw on, and instead just kind of kicks it around. That'll be another error for the Admirals.
And leads to another chance for Cam Calvillo.
Calvillo has done a little bit of everything so far this season, defensively and offensively for the Crawdads. He's take a fastball high here and count 1-0. Pitch from Wood, and this is hit over to the shortstop, Schaff, who has some trouble fielding it as well and cannot make the throw in time at first, and it allows a run to come all the way home. So taking advantage of just some really careless plays and some mental lapses out here from the Admirals or the Crawdads is now 11-1.
What an interesting way to get an RBI, and great job by Donnelly to keep hustling. Or rather, excuse me, Cole Fellows to keep hustling down the whole way. And on that error, way to get all the way home from second.
Oh, Fellows from second to home off of what should have been an out. As this pitch is hit sky high into right field. Coming in is Gwynn, who has it for out number 3, but not after the Crawdads get another run. It is now 11-1 Dads. Heading into the top of the 9th. The Dads lead by 10. We'll see if Jackson Howell stays in the game after Griffin Harrison just popped out to right field. So once again, 11-1. Top of the 9th inning, it will not be Jackson Howell. Instead, there is going to be a new man inserted for the Crawdads. This call to the bullpen brought to you by NorCal Oaks. So NorCal Oaks is a nonprofit organization dedicated to developing skilled players who want to excel in the game of baseball and softball. The new pitcher is going to be Ryan Delaney. Delaney's going to have to deal with Swanson here. The Crawdads lead 11-1. Delaney, born April 6th from Danville, California, a sophomore over at Bucknell. He's a 6'1 lefty, and he's behind 1-0. Big swing and a miss there. Something with a little bit of break to it. A little bend action, the 1-1 pitch, and then missing at a pitch up high is Christoph Swanson. The count 1-2. 1-2 from Delaney, and this is a fastball that comes in and brushes Swanson off the plate. After Swanson, it'll be Blake Schaff. and Chase Graves. Swanson is 0 for 3 today, and now 0 for 4 after striking out there. Going chasing, going fishing, and going on an expedition was Christoph Swanson. He finishes his day 0 for 4 if everything holds the way it is right now, Jake, with the Crawdads up 11-1, up by 10 runs. So here comes Blake Schaff. So a good job against the first hitter there by Ryan Delaney. Pitch from Delaney misses low. The count 1-0. Going to give you the final line for Jackson Howell. Just the 1-inning pitch. A little bit of everything. 3 walks, followed by 3 straight strikeouts. I didn't give up any runs, any hits. As here's a strike and the count 1-1.
Keep in mind, Delaney just pitched on Sunday.
Just a couple of days of rest for Delaney. His able to locate the slider there, and the count 2 balls and a strike.
And in that one, he went 2 hitless innings pitched. Beautiful, beautiful ball on the quick worker Delaney.
Pitch here misses high. The count 3-1. Spolero is in line to get the win for the Crawdads. He pitched 3 innings. Crawdads had a 3-1 lead after he was lifted out of the game. That last pitch was fouled away, and the count now 3-2. Crawdads very close to getting their first league win on the board for the 2023 season, as this pitch is skied foul down the left field line. Count stays 3-2. 1 away here. Top of the 9th. The loser is going to be Manis if everything holds the way it is, as this ball is cranked out to right field, but landing about 10 feet foul outside the foul line. Just past the bullpen, the deserted bullpen as far as stretching and warming up goes for the Crawdads. Some meandering over there. Payoff pitch, here it is. Missing low and away is Delaney. And that'll be a walk. A good job by Schaff drawing the walk.
Now Graves hitless today. He's going to come up to the plate.
Graves 0 for 2, but does have a couple of trips to the plate where he was able to reach base, but both via the base on balls. Pitch here, fastball, right down the pipe. Count 0-1. Runner on first. Blake Schaff. Lefty Delaney against the righty Graves. This pitch is popped up high on the infield. Taking a peek at it is Brome, and he calls off his second baseman, Griffin Harrison, and makes the catch for out number 2. So 1 out away, 1 out to claim it here. Make things official for the Crawdads and give them their first CCL victory of the summer. Here's Kenny DeSalle, who mentioned it all broadcasts and will probably mention it for most of the season. Historically, he's been a thorn in the side of the Crawdads. He would just love to get a hit here. Pitch, and he lines this into center right on cue. Kenny DeSalle he can never make anything easy for Walnut Creek, and credit to the man. He is a phenomenal ball player and gets a base hit there. So things will go on for at least a little bit longer here. 2 away and runners on first and second.
You want to just talk about how impressive Kenny DeSalle is, specifically against the Crawdads. The Admirals have 5 hits today, 3 of which come from Kenny DeSalle.
It'll be Adam Enyart, who came in to pinch hit for Wolf earlier in the ball game, as this pitch misses. It looked like a great pitch from here, but must have been just a tad low. Kenny DeSalle over Just off of first, Schaff over at second. Big rip. And a miss there from Enyart. Delaney hunting for out number 3. Looking back to second, not holding the runner on at all. The Crawdads for Schaff at second as this pitch misses. Count 2-1. Delaney peeks back at second, now fires a well-located pitch on the outer half, and Enyart cannot lay off. 2-2 pitch, 1 strike away from the victory are the Crawdads. Here it is, and just checking at it, making minimal contact, but enough contact to stay alive for Enyart and the Admirals. If the Crawdads win, their overall record will improve to 2-1. And they'll move to 1-1 in league play. Even things up with the Admirals. 2 pitch and ring them up looking. Going down on strikes is Enyart, so sit him down. Ryan Delaney, what a way to end the game. Offensive explosion from the Crawdads. A lot of walks, a lot of disciplined approaches at the plates. They score 11 runs. The Admirals just the 1, so the 11 runs for the Crawdads comes on 8 hits, no errors. 1 run, 5 hits, 5 errors for the Bay Area Admirals. Game started at 4:03. Game finished at 7:05, so final time of the ball game. 3 hours and 2 minutes. The Crawdads improved their record in league play to 1-1, draw even with the Admirals, and their overall record improves to 2-1. The Admirals, in their 4th ball game of the summer, they fall to 2-2 overall and 1-1 in league play. The winning pitcher today is Ryan Spolero, who was able to fire 3 good innings, just gave up 1 run, gave up 3 hits, along with that earned run, walked 1, struck out 2, faced 14. The loser is going to be Manis, who came in relief, but pitched an inning and 2/3. And unfortunately, because of the amount of time he pitched and the amount that the starter did not go, he is tagged with the loss per CCL rules. But he was pretty good. He threw 2 strikeouts, faced 5 men, but he is tagged as the loser. So once again, the Crawdads win 11-1 here in Danville, California against the Bay Area Admirals after giving up 10 runs. Yesterday evening, the Crawdads only surrender the 1 here at Monte Vista High School in Danville, California. Post-game show coming up next. Thank you for joining us. Crawdads once again with their first victory in league play for this 2023 California Collegiate League season. For Jake Baum, I'm Alon to say it's a pleasure to have you. Post-game coming up next here on the Crawdads Streaming Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Walnut Creek Crawdads postgame show. I am your host, Justin DeHaas, alongside player of the game, Casey Cummings, and Kobe Siegel. And so the Crawdads won today 11-1. And so your player of the game, your Crawdads player of the game, is brought to you by DVY Cards and Collectibles, a local shop of all your favorite cards and collectibles, conveniently located just off the 4 freeway. Casey Cummings here. Thank you, Casey, for coming on to the show.
Sir.
And so, first of all, I want to talk to you about your home run. Obviously, first time you went yard this summer. Talk to me about the pitch sequence that you saw in AB, and what were you looking at?
So to be honest, I kind of missed that first one. There was a fastball that kind of just didn't get the foot down in time and get the head out a little bit. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, and Casey, so your first 2 games you got hit by pitches 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yep.
how nice is it to finally settle in and like I don't know, like when you get hit that many times, like does your approach change? You get a little nervous up there? What happens?
I don't know. That I had to deal with that during the season, too. I got hit by like 25 different pitches in my junior college season. So something we had to deal with there. But, yeah, it kind of takes the bat out of your hands and make it real quick. But, yeah, it's definitely good to kind of get settled back in, get a feel for getting the barrel out and driving a couple balls in play. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Kobe alluded to those hit by pitches, but in these 3 games, you've been getting on base consistently multiple times in all 3 games. And as the leadoff hitter, that's your job. Can you just speak to me about that role?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is kind of being comfortable in that position and knowing your role and kind of getting on base any way you can. So the hit by pitches, they are kind of timely, and you can use them to your advantage when you get the steals opportunities. And, of course, I try to take advantage of that all the time. But, yeah, just kind of the relaxation and knowing that it's your box and kind of feeling comfortable. Yes, sir.
All right, Casey. Well, thank you for coming on to the
Thank
show.
you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate
Pleasure
it.
for having you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
We'll get you your player of the game sticker.
There we go.
sometime.
Roll Dads.
I'm not sure when, but
All good.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And so that was Casey Cummings. Your Crawdads player of the game is brought to you by DVY Cards and Collectibles, a local shop with all your favorite cards and collectibles, conveniently located just off the 4 freeway. And so, Kobe, well, after last game where the Crawdads lost 10-7, come back home, Monte Vista, rebounded, and got the victory. What did you think?
well, I mean, certainly a very encouraging game. I mean, last game it was the Crawdads who were kind of making the mistakes of hitting batters, walking batters. Now it was the Admirals' turn, and I mean, Crawdads were patient. They didn't try to do too much up there. They accepted their walks. They had great base running, 0 errors, 0 wild pitches, 0 any of that. So I think we really saw a difference considering the Admirals had 5 errors, a bunch of walks, hit batters. So I mean, just a very clean game from the Crawdads.
Yeah, and I'll bring my Crawdads analysis in a little bit, but first of all, want to talk about the out-of-town scoreboard. And so this look around the CCL is brought to you by American Stage Tours. American Stage Tours, small enough to care and large enough to compete. And so as we look around, we see obviously the Crawdads won 11-1. And then the only other CCL game in action right now, the Sonoma Stompers are beating the Lincoln Potters 1-0 in the bottom of the second. And so, again, going back to my analysis on the Crawdads, along with Duroff and Brome, who also got 2 RBIs. So it's just a very solid showing and very diverse, if you will. The parity in this lineup is immense. And, that's what I took away. But I feel like that's enough on the Crawdads lineup. You want to talk about Crawdads pitching?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, just a fantastic showing. I'm pulling up the box score here.
Sure.
And I mean, I want to talk about Spolero and McGrew, both 3 innings pitched. And if you look at the total walks, okay, outside of Jackson Howell, who did walk the bases loaded, but then he ended up striking out the side, there were only 4 total walks. So I mean, that's pretty good, considering what we saw yesterday and what we saw from the Admirals. So I think limiting the walks is very key. And I mean, especially E.J. McGrew did this. He did a good job of being very efficient. Ground balls everywhere. The defense behind him did a great job. So I mean, this pitching, if they can limit walks, it be efficient, I think they have a chance to be very strong this season.
Yeah, for sure. You were talking about Spolero and McGrew, and they combined for 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 walks, 1 earned run, and 2 strikeouts. And so, I mean, early on in the CCO, you're not going to see guys really eat innings that much. Normally you would think, oh, starters should go at least 5 innings. That's not the case in the CCL right now. A guy like Spolero doing really well, but, you got to get other guys innings too. And it's also just getting these guys warmed up. And so, both of them basically made a stud pitcher today, if you will. And, I mean, you mentioned Howell, and, boy, was that a fun experience or what?
Yeah.
My man had 3 walks, and it started looking like Ryan Troy 2.0. But, fortunately, didn't happen the same way. He was able to get out of it, cleaned up his own mess, if you will. But, yeah, overall, I mean, just a solid showing for, a great showing at that. I mean, 1 earned run, 5 total hits, so very impressive for the Crawdads. And real quickly, is there anyone on the Admirals either hitting or pitching that stood out to you?
Well, obviously, if you look at the hitting side, Kenny DeSalle, he had 3 hits, 3 for 4, another walk. The same stat line he had yesterday. So he has been the Crawdad killer. And, just credit to him, a fantastic player we've seen so far. Impossible for the Crawdads to get this guy out. He's faced like 6-7 different pitchers. None of them could get him out. So, he is a really fantastic player.
Yeah, it's not just been this year. I believe they said on the broadcast that he played for Sonoma before. And so, he's done it in years past, and now with Bay Area, he is also doing as well. You mentioned 3 hits out of 5. He was their offense, essentially. I just want to talk real quickly about Nick Gonzalez, the starting pitcher for the Admirals. This is a kid who was perfect through 2 innings. Everything was working for him. And then that 3rd hitting hit, and it wasn't the same. He gave up 6 base runners in the span of 7 plate appearances, and that's what really cracked the door open for the Crawdads. In that inning, they put up 3 earned runs, and they kept the lead the entire time. So overall, again, great outing for the Crawdads. And now when you look at it, tomorrow's the rubber match at Solano College. We'll see what happens. You got any predictions or anything you're looking forward for tomorrow's game?
Well, I am looking forward to, I don't know if we'll get it tomorrow, maybe we'll, a Ryan Troy revenge game. I am looking forward to Ryan Troy redeeming himself with a very strong outing.
Yeah, Ryan Troy, we'll see. Obviously not the best outing yesterday, but who knows? Maybe he can get back in. Although I don't know, though. I don't think we've seen a pitcher pitch multiple outings so far in these 3 games. I could be wrong about that.
Well, we had Ryan Delaney, but he pitched on Sunday, though.
That's right.
So
Delaney's the only pitcher so far that's pitched multiple times. So maybe we'll start seeing pitchers being recycled like that for tomorrow's game. But, yeah, it should be a fun one at Solano College in Fairfield, California, 4 p.m. first pitch. Thank you again for watching the Crawdads postgame show alongside Kobe Siegel. I'm your host, Justin DeHaas. Thank you for tuning in.